Hey Morrison, I can hear you, or I can see you down there rather. Can't hear you, but yeah, we'll get started here in a second. We're just setting some things up and getting organized here. See if I can pop myself on here. Okay. Yeah, we're kind of warming up, making sure all the things are doing what they should. Let's see, you guys can see my closed captioning. You guys should be able to hear my voice. Good. And good. Okay. So I was told I didn't have to do this on stream, but I'm going to anyways. I got this thing, and if you can read it, it has got the wrong name on it. It's got Scoot on there, not Scott, but we'll do what we can with it. This is a present of some type one of the guys sent me, so this will be fun. I have no idea what... Oh, jeez. I am not sure what this is. Somebody's gonna have to tell me what this is. CRKT. Confidence in hand. And it can cause cancer. Alright, let me get my knife out. See what this thing is. It's my knife. A knife. I have no idea what this is. Oh, jeez. Oh. This too is a knife. A little cricket knife. I've never seen one of these little things before. Have you, any of you guys ever seen one of these little things? A little cricket. I hope I don't stab myself with this thing. Okay. Alright. Yuckabite, hey, how's it going? It all costs money. Anybody that's showing up. How do I... Let's see, I don't know exactly how I open this thing without cutting my fingers off. Let's see if I can do this. Okay. Pushing that, and that's opening it up. And then it wants to come this way. Oh, okay, yeah, look at that. Little knife. With a... Oh, that is super smooth, isn't it? It's a little rotating blade. That's kind of cool. Alright, that's pretty cool. I might, That's pretty cool, alright. I will, attach that to myself. It's funny that I used my own little knife to open that knife. That's kind of amusing to me. My own little personal knife that I carry sometimes. Alright. Perfect. Alright, that was a present from one of the guys for my birthday. So I thought, he said it wasn't a gag gift, and I'm like, well, he probably still wants me to pop it up on stream. But yeah, it's a little cricket knife. Little like personal carry. I don't know if any of you guys ever grew up, like, if you grew up in the 80s and 90s, like, a lot of people had pocket knives on them. I know it's even people older than us, but I'm saying in general, like, we don't have sharp talons, right? We can't cut a seatbelt if we wanted. Well, you couldn't cut a seatbelt if you wanted to with your hands, right? So you have to have something to do that. And a lot of emergency people and people that were in combat, you know, we always carry knives on us. So it's nothing to do with the violence of it. It's to do with the usefulness of it, you know. So anyways, somebody said, as someone who knows Linux exists, would this course benefit me? That's as far as experience with Linux goes. It all costs money. Are you talking about this right here? What I'm pulling up here? I'm putting together like a free little, like, this is for me to get ready for this cert, and then I just like to put together training as we go. So yeah, I wouldn't necessarily go spend money on a PCA. I actually am going to take the cert because while it's normally $250, they had a 40% off, so I think it was 175 or something. So I got like a pretty good little discount. I was like, I'll take this one. I do enough with Prometheus to make it worthwhile for me. No Nothing, how's it going? And over on the YouTube side, it's a knife brand. I don't follow every EDC channels. No, I don't, Doc. I don't follow anything that, like, for lack of a better term, like bro vets follow. I don't do any of that stuff. But yeah, that's pretty cool. I had never seen this little cricket thing. So yeah, so, you know, nothing against that stuff. I just had never played with one of these or seen one of these before. That's pretty cool. I was very worried about snapping this thing out and cutting myself, but we'll play with that later. The wife's out of town, so I'll just be sitting here fidgeting and playing around. Somebody's attempting, it all costs money. I'm attempting to convince myself to just get an A+. So it all costs money. Let me tell you about A+. I've got nothing against A+. It's just A+ is a very specific type of certification for a very specific type of work. And A+ is great to people that want to go work in actual data centers. It's great for people that want to actually work on fixing computers. But most people I know don't want to do that for a long time. So it's up to you if you're like, oh, I just want to do it and get in the industry. And then, or I don't know, maybe you want to do that for the rest of your life. Not everybody wants to do that, though. So I'm not saying A+ is bad. I'm just saying I would skip over to like Net Plus or Security Plus if it was me. But if that's what you want to do, and if you have like a data center in your area and you're like, shit, I can go work for this Amazon or this Azure data center that happens to be by me, there's nothing wrong with those certs. I think they're great. You just want to get in the industry. Yeah, I would just maybe do Net Plus if it were me, or Security Plus. And that's from a guy who's trained, 5,000 plus college students now. And, that's my opinion on it. I never got an A+ either. Of course, I skipped Net Plus because I had my CCNA, but the point is, you can do any of those to get in the industry. SK's here. Hey, how's it going? Yeah, we're doing Prometheus today. But I have Civi knife. Yeah, you know what, Doc? I actually got made fun of once. I have a knife that I carry that's pretty nice that I picked up years ago, and it's a Smith & Wesson knife. And I didn't know Smith & Wesson made knives until I had picked up this one. And it's I want to say it's about a $120 knife, but I had gotten it at Big Five for I think I got it for like $40, but it was like a 60 or 70% off sale, so I got like this big discount on it. Got an old laptop just spinning Proxmox backup server. Okay. So it's not quite Friday yet. I got one more day of the week. By the way, I worked all last weekend, so now this is going on like a 2-week work, thing. And by streaming, I'm kind of ditching a little bit of work that I'm supposed to be doing tonight, but I'll get to that when I get there. Ultimate Giga Chat, I carry Prometheus with me. I love it. Okay, so Prometheus as a tool, we have used it all over in our labs. Some of you guys have done the labs with me, where in our Linux labs we actually have Prometheus. So as we do this whole talk today on Prometheus, and I'm going to be setting up this presentation kind of as we go and talk, I'm going to show you guys a bunch of stuff out of Prometheus, and I want to show you guys 2 ways to get Prometheus stood up, for you to use. So one of them is right here. You can go to our Prometheus and Node Exporter lab. I know that's a little bright. There you go. Hey, there's Robodom. I thought you weren't going to make it today, Robodom. There's our lab on the Twitch side, and on the YouTube side, I'll message it to you guys over there. Okay, good. But this is a lab where you can get your own little environment stood up if you needed to. In my home lab, I forgot my machine booted the other day. Let's get into my jump box real quick. All right, so my machine's rebooted. I'm reconnecting into my jump box, and then I just do, some of you guys know, Screen-R, and I just get back to a screen session of all the stuff that I've been working on, right? So I have all of my environments right here at my kind of fingertips without having to go anywhere. And then you guys that have been around know that I have Prometheus in my home lab here too, right? So I can hop up and go do, where are we at here? We'll just do one of these. Where do I want to go for this? Root, streams, code examples. And in here is all of my, like when I do Node Exporter, how I deploy my Node Exporter to all of my systems and feed my data back to Prometheus as a scraping tool. In fact, I've got some stuff to set up in my home lab today. So as we're doing this and as we're kind of talking about Prometheus, I'm going to be getting in and touching the home lab environment a little bit. For you guys here, you guys can just be jumping into those labs that I just sent you. So I just posted the labs. and you can just go through and build the Grafana to Prometheus to node exporter if you want. You can build all those pieces out or whatever, so you have an environment to play with, right? There's another environment out here. I'm going to jump back out of Killer Coda, and I'm just going to search here for Prometheus. So I'm showing you guys how to get here as well. Okay. And then there's Robodom giving you guys the Discord. If you guys haven't ever hopped in our Discord's free. You can hang out in there with other engineers that like doing this stuff. And, that's the goal of this stuff, is to show you guys that there's people out here doing the same type of stuff. So let's go find one of these guys put together. Let's see if I can find which one it is. It might have been this Grafana Labs one. Let's see. Let's see if it was in here. It's not this one. There's the Hetanis Labs, right? There's our labs. This guy's got way more than I thought. Okay. Here's just a Prometheus one. Let's go look at this one. Was it this one I found? Let's go see. I don't think it was this one. No. I was in one the other day. I should have written it down. We're going to find it again. But basically what it was Prometheus, but it was just a Docker... What the hell's the name of that tool where you just stand up a bunch of Docker images at once? It's a Docker Compose. So it's a Docker Compose setup, but it gives you all of the pieces that you could use to follow along with this. So if you were like, hey, I want to set this up, but I don't want to spend a lot of time on the setup, Scott, I say, okay. You just want to get your hands on it and play with it. That's what I like to do too. There's definitely one of these that just deals with the Prometheus part of it. And I don't remember which one I picked. Oh, there's so many of them that think they have Prometheus in it. But let's go look at this one. Maybe it's in here. I don't remember it being in here, but nah. Maybe I have to find it again and give it to you guys. In the meanwhile, you can feel free to do it in the lab that I put up there, the lab that I gave you guys that I put together. The difference between them is if you do the Docker Compose one, you don't get to play with the architecture. You don't have a real service on a real server that you can change the service and restart the Prometheus and change the way that the time series database works with a config file. You can't do that. You could probably do that by messing with the Docker file some, but it's not the same from an architecture standpoint, right? So I'd have to find, maybe it was cloud native. That seems like something I would have thought. Let's go check. Somebody redeemed a Ranger check. Here's Ranger. It's him right there. There's your Ranger check. There's Ranger. He had food. I gave him food. I'm the only one here until Saturday, so he's had his food. I'll go give him a treat here in a little bit. On stream we always take a break and go give Ranger treats. I also get myself treats at that point typically. But we'll do that. Now I know I reimaged the laptop with an old exercise for Grafana plus Prometheus. Anyways, it was with Docker. So yeah, Doc, you could play with this a lot of different ways. My lab focuses on giving you guys the ability to build all of the pieces on an actual server, because that's how you're probably going to do it. Anyway, so let's find. I want to say it was this one. This one looks familiar to me. I think it was this one. Hold on, let's see. In this scenario, learn how to launch Prometheus and start metrics within your system. Okay. This is it. Yeah, you download this clone. Okay, so this is the one. Let's say, Docker Compose up D. Perfect. So these are two options for you guys. And I am going to post this here. And I'm going to post this over here. And I'm going to go. By the way, guys, I tend to, it's funny, I don't know if it's nervousness. I don't feel like I get nervous when I get on here and talk to you guys. But, and I've been talking in front of groups for so long, over 15 years as a professor. I don't think I get nervous, but I do have one bad habit where I just go. Right? Like I went into all this and I didn't do the things I wanted to do. So we got to back up a second. I got to back up a second. I've been talking too much. and doing all this stuff and trying to like, it's like my mind's racing to get to the things that I want to do. But I know that I need to slow a little bit. What is easier on a system? Is it old Docker or regular? So it's different. Docker is probably by far the easiest to spin up and test on. So this Docker stuff, look at how easy this is. Watch, I'm going to get Prometheus and all this stuff up right here. That was it. Those were 2 commands right there. So you have, well, it's going to take a second to download the Docker images and then run. But, you know, in the other labs, you see we go through and we have to pull down some service files and we have to look at them and then start them and all that stuff and make sure they're open. This is not my lab here, Robodom. No. What I'm giving you guys right here is 2 options for getting your hands on this, because the goal of today actually isn't to do labs at all. We don't do labs. I mean, we do labs on Sundays, but on other days, we just kind of work through whatever. And what I'm doing is I'm putting together, as I am doing my PCA, my Prometheus Certified Associate, I'm putting together kind of like the little study guide for it. And I was actually down here on domain 4. I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit and get you guys kind of ready. What the hell is going on here? Okay, I see what's going on. Domain 2, PromQL, instruments. Okay, so that's where I need to be. All right, so anyways, the point is, I just did all this. So if I do a Docker PS, right, I'll see all of these systems up. I've got a Docker entry point, and I've got 80 and 80, and then I got Node Exporter on 9100. I've got Prometheus on 9090, and I've got Grafana on this box. So I've got all this stuff on here that should immediately be up. If I came over here in this lab and went to traffic ports, and I just checked right here, like I said, hey, I want to go to port 3000 on this box, right? And I said access. It's not up yet all the way. Okay, so that's down. So 3000 is not good. But what about 9090? Is that one up? Access. Still not up. How about port 80? Port 80 up on there? That's the front end login for Grafana. So there's a front end that forwards it back to the other one. So anyways, here's Grafana coming up here in this environment, right? And we'd have to reset that. But my point is, you can go in a lab like this and you could start to get your hands on this stuff. So let me grab this, and I'm going to jump over here for a second, and I'm going to go to, I'll probably drop this in Prolog projects for PCA topics. I'm going to say labs to use for building the environment, right? Because you got to get your hands on this stuff. When you're getting ready for anything, in fact, this test doesn't have any hands on though. This test I'm going to be taking, I think, is like 75 or 80 questions in 2 hours, so that's pretty light. But labs used for the environment, Docker build is the one right here, and then if you want server build, that's going to be my lab. So we're going to go grab my lab real quick here. Boom. Where's that? Come over here. Where's he at here? All right, so we'll go back to my lab for this one. All right, so we found that. So I'm not gonna leave that up because I have those. So we don't need that anymore, and I'm gonna have this linked for you guys. In my lab, it's this one here. Prometheus and Node Exporter. Here we go. All right. So server build out. Labs used for building the environment to practice your Prometheus. There you go. Boom. And then I always wait and I get rid of all. I can't stand those embeds, so I get rid of them. So now it's just like a clean little thing that we're doing. Okay. Yeah, Robodom, go have fun. I knew you weren't going to be around. That's cool. I'm going to be on for a while, Robodom. I'm just kind of hanging out and talking shop with people. Oh, Doc, it's definitely easier to do Docker on the system. Yeah, as far as the hardware as well. So Doc was asking about like what's easier on the system, just spinning up a bunch of Docker containers or running this stuff as services. It's definitely lighter weight to do it in Docker, 100%. So All right. I'm not missing anything. I think I got everybody here. Okay. This is what I wanted to show you guys real quick. In our Discord, for people that have joined the Discord, we're turning 5 years old on Discord. So if you guys want to hang out, and we're going to have a big event in August, right? We've been a professional Linux users group for 10 years. I've been meeting with people and hanging out and talking shop and getting people into the Linux engineering field for 10 years now. But it's actually funny, the first 5 or so was just at my house. Everybody would just meet here in Phoenix. They'd just come over. And we had various amounts of people. I'd say between three probably on average, up to maybe about 16. And the average over all of the time was probably about 3 or 4 total. But sometimes we'd have a little more, and people would come in, and then they'd give up because Linux is hard, or they'd stick with it and move on to other stuff, and it just depended. But we've been running this group for a long time, right? It's kind of a labor of love. But we hopped on Discord in 2019 because we had some friends up in Colorado that wanted to do this stuff. I had a guy that I knew and one of his buddies that was in the Army. So it was an Army buddy and then another guy, and they wanted to meet up with us. So we started the Discord so everybody could kind of hang out in there, and that worked out okay. But then what I wanted to do was I wanted to show you guys that all of our events are always free, and I just bring in guest speakers. So I'm going to kick off the thing just because, well, nobody picked the first day at 9 a.m. By the way, if you look at this on Discord, it's in your time. But we're going to have 4 sessions a day. I'm going to talk at the first one about why engineering, why we do engineering, and all that kind of stuff. And then day 1, then we're going to do to be determined. We don't know who this is going to be yet. We'll pick somebody. MPES is coming to talk about eBPF topics, right? That kind of stuff. Okay. And then one of the guys is coming to talk about CI/CD and DevOps, and he's a director of engineering for his company, but he's still kind of hands-on. And then he's going to come talk about this big old monstrosity right here, which is before we started calling things CI/CD. And if you want to know what that is, come ask in the Discord, and he'll explain it to you. But that's going to be a good session. Those are all sessions. The second day, Fisherman Guybro, who's off and around, he's also the one that sent me this little cool thing, right, that I opened up on stream. He's going to be around to talk about, he's going to do something with bots or AWS. He's had a couple talks with us before. He's the guy that maintains our bot in the Discord, that welcomes people to the Discord. And he's also the guy who does, he works with AWS products a lot. He's got, I've got 5 of the AWS certs, and he's got 6 of them. So he comes in and does a lot of the AWS stuff. And he's came out and talked twice to us about with people that want to get into FANG, what the process looks like in getting into those jobs. I guess it's not FANG anymore, but whatever it's called nowadays, Mang or whatever the hell. He actually went through that process and got hired. We have some other guys talking that are in those companies as well, but more on the systems engineering side. But understanding how that process works can help you get in if that's what you're wanting to do. So he's going to come and talk about one of those things. I don't know exactly what he's talking about, but his stuff's always good. We're going to have one of my friends that's working on his PhD in it's economics, but it's a subset of economics called econometrics. I got it. He's coming to talk. I always wonder if my CC is going to pick up what I said. But he's going to come talk about data analytics and that kind of stuff. And then we'll do some data stuff with Jared. Jared's come and talk to the group a whole bunch. And then we're going to do systems engineering with Sending Ground. So we have 2 people. If we just go over this real quick, we have 2 people that are almost done with their doctorates. We have 2 guys who work for Amazon. Well, they work for Amazon Web Services. We got a director of engineering. We've got a senior site reliability engineer who is also a Red Hat architect. So we got all that stuff. So we got a good amount of people coming, right? As far as the cast of people talking, and every one of those talks is free. So if you want to come to those and hang out, it's free. Muddy, you wanted to see Ranger? Here's Ranger. He's not moving around too much because, well, he's a lazy dog. But that's the second Ranger check we've had today, which was good. There's Ranger. He's licking his bed for some reason because he's an old dog. He's almost 13. He's a mix of Labrador and Golden Retriever, I think. He's probably got some German Shepherd in him too. But he's kind of got a mix of some of these things. So he's a pretty good dog. We love Ranger. All right. So that's that. You guys that just came in, we are kind of talking through, these free events that are coming up. But when I have these built, and I'm going to be like announcing it more. But I want you guys to know that you can attend as many sessions as you want, but there are going to be prizes for the people that attend the most. And you go, how can you possibly keep track of who attended the most sessions? I've got a method. I've got a method. All of my people giving talks are going to be giving parts of a hash. And then the people that collect the most, almost like little Easter eggs, are going to get some kind of prize. I don't know what the prize is going to be yet, but we'll do something like that, and I think it'll be fun. And I think that will be a good little thing. Everybody likes when people come and talk, right? And I tell people all the time, like, can't just listen to me. Go listen to these other engineers that are doing this stuff as well. So that's where we're at. Somebody said statistics and econ. Work at McDonald's. Okay. All right. Let's go with. I don't know what's going on over here. Let me see what's going on over here. All right. So we got Ranger. Let's go back to what I was working on right before we started. So we're getting ready for the Prometheus Certified Associate, which is just a test from Linux Foundation. They had a sale, so I was like, I'll take it. I have way more certifications than I probably need. And I work a lot with monitoring, but not so much that I probably need the certification, but maybe it just looks good because I work in the high performance compute space, and strictly speaking, we don't work great in high performance compute at monitoring things. There's tools that are out there that are okay, but there's not a lot of stuff that's there. Okay, sorry, I'm trying to catch up on chat and looking at what's going on. Okay, so let's come back over here. I'm just looking through some of the GitHubs that are out there. There's some Prometheus Certified Associate stuff, and then the exam topics over here. And we're going to be clicking through and reading some of these. SK, a lot of the stuff's still on sale, yeah. So the PCA is still on sale as well. Yeah, I think it's like $175 or something. But I don't think people have to go that route if they don't, want to spend money on it. So here's where I was. I was down here on instrumentation and exporters, and I'm just gathering up. Whoops, get out of here. Just gathering up information. Whoops, if I could type. That's what I need to work on, structuring and naming metrics. I definitely don't know that like I should. Let's get rid of this. This is from the other discussion. And then the last one is alerting and dashboards. Get that out of there. And we'll say alerting. %. All right, so we have 18%, 16%, 28%, 20%, and 18%. So that sounds about right. And our alerting and dashboarding will be, it worked now, so weird, broken. The link shouldn't be expired. Let me know. It worked, you said? Okay, Venu. Good. Well, you guys are welcome to hang out down in Discord. Obviously, there's good stuff going on in there if you can get in there. Basics, if I could type basics. Dashboard basics. Understand and use. Okay, and then manager. Okay. All right. I think that's all of the topics. Okay, good. All right. Where are we at here? So then we're going to look at a lot of this stuff, and as we kind of go and look through the different pieces of this, I know some of this is bright. This is some of the Prometheus documentation that's out there. We're going to walk through and look at some of this. But as we do that, we are going to be in the labs, right? If you want to do any of this stuff in the labs and get some hands-on stuff, I'm going to show you guys how I would build this stuff and test it out. So somebody said they've been preparing for CKAD and Google PCA, so happy to find other folks in the same domain. Yeah, well, Venu, I have a lot of friends that do Google stuff. We got a lot of guys down in the Discord that work on Google. We're probably much more heavy on, if I had to guess, I'd say most of us are more into the AWS side of things, but we do have a few people that have been studying and working on their Google. A lot of times, it's funny, a lot of times, we're heavily opinionated on one until we find out, oh, hey, I'm going to go work in Azure, and then now you're an Azure guy, like you were like, oh, I really liked AWS, but then you find Azure and you're like, oh, I can just go do that the whole time. So I try not to be, in general, I try not to like specialize in any one thing unless, well, what I mean by that is not that I can't specialize and be really good at AWS. That's, I'm a solutions architect pro and I understand their stuff well, but where I'm going with that is I'm a solutions architect. There we go. Anyways, I'm one of theirs. But the point is that I want to know how to build stuff across all of them, even though I'm kind of more deep in the AWS side of things. If somebody was like, hey, could you build this out in Google? I'm like, well, I've never done anything in Google, but I could probably figure it out. Same thing with, I've never been in Oracle Cloud, not once. I bet I could figure it out because a lot of the stuff's the same, It's just, I might have to go figure out how their API works, and I might have to figure out how some command line stuff works. But other than that, the generic pieces of it all kind of work. So, all right, if we do the lab, you can do the lab to a point, and you would build out Prometheus. So I'm not going to use the lab for Prometheus. Stranger, I have Prometheus in my home lab, right? And so I can touch. So if I go, so here's my Prometheus server here. I can see I've got Prometheus running there, right? I can see how it was called and started. I can do a system CTL cat for Prometheus. I can see how it was started. I can see the simple status for you guys that have been around and seen me kind of do, like, systemctl cat will show you how a service was called by systemd as it came up. Super useful for finding precisely how things work. Cameron Carter said, is the market for this stuff better than software engineering? Well, I can't tell you that for sure, Cameron. I have stayed out of, the last 20 years, I have stayed out of software engineering. I can tell you, like, I look at some of my software engineering friends, in fact, one of them is streaming right now, Midnight Simon, and like the things that they kind of have to go through to get the job, and they have to study all this leak code and do all this, binary tree searches and stuff. I'm like, that doesn't interest me. Like, even like I could fight really hard to learn all that stuff and get the job, and then I would absolutely hate my life. So like, I can't, you see what I'm saying? Like, for me, that's not super interesting to me. This stuff seems a bit more fun and easier than the stuff for. Oh, I 100% think what I do is easier than software engineering. By the way, not everybody would probably agree with me though, because I've taught enough engineers over the years. I mentioned I've had over 5,000 engineers now that I've trained as a college professor, and I can tell you that not a lot of people like sitting at a black background with green and white letters like this. Like, that people can't stand this. This drives people insane. The same way that like database engineering would drive me insane. I would not like, I've done enough database stuff to know I do not want to be a database engineer. And that's one of the things I always tell my college students, like, hanging out here for even a few minutes and being like, this stuff sucks. That's the best, that's probably the cheapest, best thing that anybody could ever do to you. It's better than a kick in the pants, right? Now, anyways, but the point is, one, like, you didn't have to pay somebody a bunch of money and go to school and figure out that you hate this stuff, right? Let me show you guys another couple things. So systemctl cat will show you how it was called. Systemctl status will show you the status of it running and that kind of stuff. Some of you might not be familiar with this, though. You can do a systemd analyze blame. You can do blame, but let's do critical chain for Prometheus. And you do need the whole thing for this one to work. But this will tell me, since the system booted, and it starts at the bottom and goes up to the left, all the things that were required for me to start Prometheus as a service. So if I got to this box and Prometheus wasn't running for some reason, I could go figure out what the critical path was to get it running. That's useful. Other things, right? I know where the time series database is being stored, var lib Prometheus. So I could do a df-h on var lib Prometheus, because maybe I don't know the environment I'm in. Maybe this is the first time I've ever been on the server. And this will tell me where I'm at, right? Hey, Pod, hopefully this stuff's useful to you guys. How was the raid? And also, L:Q, or Clonk, right, as the internet knows him. You're not raiding over here too, are you? Hope Clonk's not raiding. That would be too many people raiding. That would be too many people here, and we wouldn't be cool with this. So I appreciate all you guys coming. We are playing with Prometheus. We're getting ready for the certification test for Prometheus. I'm putting together some it helps me to like outline things. It's one of the skills I have as an engineer that's always proved very useful to me, is being able to outline things and kind of compartmentalize things. So I'm getting ready for the certification and helping other people get ready for it. So that's kind of what we're doing. We're putting together some stuff. Cameron said, I understand. Thank you. I've been using Slackware for years, and this stuff is just cool to me. Hate software engineering. Yeah, Cameron, I can tell you, like, I would bash my head against the wall if I had to do like the way that you guys get into software engineering jobs. Like if I had to sit down and just write like binary tree stuff for people, I'd be like, this fucking sucks. Like I'm gonna pass this test and not even like the job I do, right? And then it's funny because we always make the joke. It's the same thing in the systems world, because you know I build all the underlying systems that software guys throw their code on top of, and I joke around about we joke around about the job is like King Kong fighting Godzilla, right? It's like all, and then the actual job is just those two little idiots in their suits with like snow shovels and stuff. The actual job is never as hard as the interview, right? So there's that. So yeah, guys that came in on the raid, thanks for coming in. We are hanging out, we're talking shop, and I've been linking things for people that want to build this. And by the way, it's also down in the Discord here. But here's, if you were like, hey Scott, I want to get some hands on this stuff, but I don't know where to go. We've got a little Prolug projects, like as we're building out projects. And down here for this is the Prometheus Certified Associate. If you were like, hey Scott, I do want to study this stuff and I do want to understand Prometheus better, here's two places. This is my lab up here, server build, and you build it out and put it on a real server. And then this is a Docker build where you could just go and hit Docker compose up and it'll Prometheus, Grafana, and Node Export. It just installs them all on a server. So both of them are valid. Both of them are needed to, you need to understand, like if you just wanted quickly to build the queries and that kind of stuff, this one would be the fastest way to a running system. But when you're doing the server architecture stuff and you need to understand how the time series database works and where it puts things, you need to do that. So yeah, Prods Pod, hopefully this stuff's useful. Yeah, you guys are welcome to hang out and do whatever you want. I was also talking about, we've got our 10-year anniversary of our professional Linux users group coming up, and we've got a bunch of events coming up that are all free for people that want to hang out. I've never charged anything for our talks, and we have engineers that come in and talk from around the industry. And yeah, we joke around a lot, but we also have a lot of very serious engineers out there. So over here, I see that I am at 79% usage where my Prometheus has been spinning. Now, my Prometheus has been running in this environment for a long time, so Prometheus automatically, as a time series database, prunes out its old metrics. So that's probably going to stay at around that. But in my home lab here, this is a box that I built years ago. I can do a PVS, VGS, LVS, and see that I have in the systems world, logical volume management is a way that we can treat disks on a Linux system a lot like we've always treated disks in the storage area networking world. And in the storage area networking world, what we used to do is we would throw a JBOD, which is just a bunch of disks. So a JBOD looks like this. Hold on. Let me pull this up for you guys so that you guys aren't like, this guy's crazy. I mean, I'm definitely crazy, but JBOD. Whoops. JBOD example data center. JBOD means just a bunch of disks. So JBOD is just a bunch of disks. Let's see if we can get some images of it. Looks like this, just a bunch of disks, right? That's a pretty good little example there. Just a bunch of disks and disk enclosures. Then you've got some kind of fiber channel over Ethernet or back-end InfiniBand connectors, whatever you have into there. Hey, Cypher Enigma, how's it going? But this is what just a bunch of disks looks like, and then we build them into these big Lustre and GPFS arrays. But I want you to kind of start with that, and then what you can think about is we aggregate those disks up into pools, into what we call big storage arrays, right? And then we carve those storage arrays down into LUNs, and we assign those LUNs to different machines in our network. Then those machines connect to them over a WW, whatever it is, like it's a worldwide number. It's kind of like a MAC, but for storage area networking. And where I'm going with all that is that model is exactly how PVS, so logical volume management, uses, I can add physical disks, so physical volumes that are assigned. I can aggregate them up into volume groups. So it's kind of like I take a bunch of disks and put them, almost like if you've ever seen a cake be made. You've got each of the layers of the cake, and then you put the frosting. And then the volume groups are carved down into logical volumes, right? Well, all that to say, I've got 14 gigs free. So on this one, I can do an LV extend -R capital L plus 100% free on, and then I need, it's Ubuntu VG, Ubuntu LV. So the whole name is going to be dev mapper, and then it's going to be Ubuntu, VG LV like that. And I should be able to, maybe I need a lowercase l. I always get those ones mixed up. All right, so now if I do a df-h against that directory, now I have, I was looking at it going, what the hell? It's 39% usage now, and its size is 28 gigs. So we added those 14 gigs that we had to that disk pool. I was looking at it going, what the hell? But yeah, we're 39% usage now instead of 79% usage. So I just did that so I wouldn't run out in my home lab. What happens when someone builds a Linux machine without specifying the physical volume as part of the volume groups? AKA, is there a way to rescue an LV extend if someone doesn't make it part of a volume group ahead of time? Yeah, so Hack the Planet, you can do a mix of physical partition. So let's say you had an SDA and you hard partitioned it without using logical volume management, but you have logical volume management on the server. You can't touch those ones anymore because those are partitions that fall into that normal partitioning scheme of a disk, right? We can have 4 primary, and then we can take the 4th one away, so we can have 3 primary, and then that 4th primary becomes 64 extended, right? We're not going to, we don't have to talk architecture too much, but the point is, you could come in later and add logical volume to the mix, but those original systems, the original partitions that you have, are going to stay where they're at, unfortunately. I can think of a couple of ways to change that in the system, but it wouldn't be pretty, and it would probably be using like a rescue disk or like a parted D. You guys ever seen the little boot parted disks, and then you can boot them up and do a bunch of changes and stuff? But that kind of gets messy. If it were me, almost universally, I would just blow away. I would build a new machine, move the data connections over, and blow away the old machine, which is how I do things professionally. You guys see me do all this stuff in my home labs, and I treat these servers like they're pets. I treat them like Ranger Dog. What do I mean by that? If Ranger Dog gets sick, he goes to the vet. Ranger Dog wants to go run outside, we go run outside. He's a pet. But the servers in my home lab are pets. My servers at work, I don't love them. And most all of them, instead of having anything stored locally, we have things attached from like storage that's external, and I can kill that machine and build a new machine in its place and reconnect it, and it's basically the same machine like that. Can't snap with my left hand, right? It's like that. It's real quick. I inherited a mess. Yeah, Hack the Planet. If you have a mix of it, it can be a hassle. One of the things that I do, and one of the things that they bring me in for, because I work on a whole bunch of big high-performance compute projects, when they call me in, my company that contracts me out, when they put me on a project, it's almost always, and this is like it's work, guys. I'm not going to tell you this isn't work, but it's almost always because they've lost the thread. They've lost the control of either like a deployment process or a management process of the cluster, or there's a whole bunch of reasons that I get called in for stuff, but I end up helping people to. It's almost like the driver's been shot on top of the stagecoach, and the horses are still running, but nobody's controlling it. And I come in and I kind of help get that back under control, typically through Ansible, almost universally with Ansible, but sometimes with other tools as well. But mostly Ansible. XCat's another example of a tool that works really well. Werewolf is a tool that works really well. But this back to your point, hack the planet. You may end up having to like pull the reins out of the dead driver's hands, as it were, and you may have to start building new things and then migrating services over and pulling old systems out, because this is what we do, right? This is systems administration stuff. It's the stuff that's like messy and people don't always see what we do on the systems engineering side. Is this how I become Guilfoyle? Kat, that's actually really funny. I really did like that Silicon Valley in general, and Guilfoyle probably resonated the most with me because he was kind of like what a Linux engineer would be, right? Just like the guy that maintains all the systems, right? Yeah, I think that was Guilfoyle anyways, right? He was the guy with the glasses? The guy that, kind of nerdy dude? Oh, they were all nerdy, I guess, but yeah. Pretty sure I knew who Guilfoyle was. Let me look that up. I'm not going to look it up, but blow it out and rebuild and do it right. Hack the planet, that's 100% true. If you can do logical volume management, and if you understand it already, then good. If you don't understand it, spend some time with it. But I really think that people that give this a shot really love it, because it's really the best way to do things. If I needed to slap another disk onto this box, I could do it out of this environment here. I can go right here to Grafana. And actually, this is Grafana. Wait, hold on. Oh, this is Prometheus. Yeah, I'm looking at Grafana. I was wondering, why do I have two of them? I only have one Prometheus in the environment. Where's he at? He's in here somewhere. Here's Prometheus. I could go slap another disk on him. Here's his storage. He's got this 130 gig disk, right? Can you lower the size of a volume group or logical volume? ISO or iOS? No, not easily. No. You can't really shrink things easily. You can expand them. But before I say that, you can, with volume groups and logical volumes, if you add disks and move the data over and decommission the old disks or partitions, you can do that, yes. So you could. It's so hard to move down a partition. I would almost always tell you to move to another partition and get rid of it and then rebuild it, because it's very hard. It's very hard, and honestly, nowadays in systems engineering, it's useless to ever shrink a disk or shrink a volume of any type that I can think of. It would take me so long to do it right without losing data that I might as well just move the data and blow it away, if that makes sense. But I could add a disk to it, and then over here, I would see, in this case, I just have there's a bunch of other stuff. I have just the dev xvda, but if I were to add a disk here, let's go ahead and just add a disk. And I'll say for stream example. And I can see where I can put that disk. I've got this lab storage with 679 gigs free. Or I have local storage on here, which is a lot smaller. I'm going to go in lab storage. I'll make this another 20. I'll make another 30 gigs, right? So we'll use some of our lab storage up. And I'll add it, and it'll add the disk in over here. And then over here, because we don't have to do the old system host walks like we used to, I should be able to fdisk-l grep-i for xvd. And there's my second disk right there. That wasn't there before. Dev xvdb. It's there immediately in my environment. And then it's just a VG. Do you guys want to see that added? Have you guys not done, like, I don't know with, this size group of people, but if you want to see, I did add that disk to make it part of logical volume management. So I could do PVS, and I will not see it there, which makes sense. Why would it be there? VGS, it's also not there. And LVS. Here's all the stuff I've got in this environment. But watch, I could do a PV create telling the system, the logical volume management system, you can use, so logical volume management, you can use devxdb. So now when I do a PVS, I can see that disk now. I see that it is not assigned to a volume group, and it's got 30 gigs of free space on it. Then I go to my VGS, and I see my volume groups, but I can say VG extend, and say, hey, Ubuntu VG, you can have dev xvdb as you. So it's almost like I'm stretching that volume group over a second disk. So now there's going to be 2 disks in there. And one of them's not even going to be a full disk. It's just a partition on a disk. So you could do disks or partitions on a disk. I could have partitioned this up first before I did all this. Still could if I wanted to. I'm going to VG extend. Now I do a VGS. And now that's pulled over those 2 disks. And when I do my PVS again, I can see that it's part of that volume group, but it's still got all the disk space free. We haven't given it to anything. Now, if I do an LVS, by the way, you might say, Scott, aren't there all these other commands? Couldn't you be doing a PV display? Yeah, watch this real quick. I'm gonna do this, and then I'm gonna let you guys decide why I'm not doing PV display. Look at that. That's a big old mess. It gives you more info though, but it's not that good of information. It's not that important to have that much information. So let's just do PVS, VGS, LVS. Those are my 3 favorite ones to do quick when I'm trying to figure out what's going on in the system. And then somebody said, does that become part of a rated volume group? No. So the volume group itself is not rated unless you set up within the logical volume management creation. When we do an LV create, we can actually tell it to raid against a volume group. We can absolutely do that. iOS, I did not do that though. I'll just call you Sobu. I did not do that originally, so I couldn't do that now. But you could, as you think of it as cutting the cake, you could tell it to take different slices off of the different disks. So you can raid your logical volumes as you create them if you have enough disks underneath. You can't make a RAID 5 where you don't have at least 3 disks. You guys understand that, right? You can't make a RAID 6 where you don't have at least 4 disks, right? But you can do, so you can play with it. But yeah, could I make it mirror if I had 2 disks? Absolutely. And I could spend, so it would write to both disks in case either disk went down, it would still be on the other. It's a generated name. Feel free to pronounce it however you want. Yeah, I'm going to call you Sobu because that's funny. And it, I think it reminds me of, I don't know why that reminds me of sake because it doesn't sound anything like sake, but it reminds me of like a drink, like Sobu. Maybe that's a, anyways. All right. So, let's do the LV extend. By the way, I'm going to cheat and I'm going to steal something from myself because as I've told you guys before, you know, good writers borrow, great writers steal. That's an old saying. I'm just going to extend this to 100% free. So now if I do a PVS, there's nothing free. VGS, there's nothing free. LVS, there's nothing free. But when I do my DF-H, by the way, let me show you a little trick. I know the last DF-H that I did is somewhere in my history. And I know that it's the one that I want, the last one I did. So if I just bang DF, it'll, bang is just an exclamation mark. It will do the last DF that I did, which is the exact DF that I want. So it gives me the command that I want. And then it's there. Another trick for you guys that don't play with Linux a lot, when you do a history, let's say I grep-I for DF, right? And I find all these, I can bang 136 as well. And that would give me the same. So you can call it by number, or if you know it's the most recent one, you can call it by that. There's also some tricks in there that you can change things. So we're not going to, excuse me, get into it too much right now. But we could change this as we go and do the DF-H and then change it from varlib Prometheus to something else. There's some ways to kind of call things and re-edit them on the command line stuff. Okay, Mokan said, unrelated to the stream, I absolutely love the way you teach. I was watching Socratic Linux Learning and enjoyed learning. You're a legend. Thanks, man. I mean, the goal of this is to teach you guys this stuff. And if nothing else, I can show you that you guys can do this, right? Because everybody that could watch me for more than 2 minutes is at least probably a hobbyist in this space. But why aren't you a pro? You know, like if you're a hobbyist in Linux, but then you like go work at a car dealership, there's nothing wrong with working at a car dealership, guys. I'm not saying that that's not. But you already enjoy doing some of this stuff, so why not go do it professionally, right? Why not spend a little bit of time, clean up the resume a little bit, and get ready for it? So yeah, Mokund, hopefully this stuff, or Mokund, hopefully this stuff's useful to you. Yeah, I don't know why it called you Mocha there. That sounds like a pet name or something. But you guys can all do this stuff. All right. So anyway, so we're on my Prometheus server. I can see stuff about how the system started. Here's all these commands we were just messing around with. We were looking at the system. We were extending, we're just messing around, right? When I discovered sudo, it was my new birthday. Yeah. But in general, like, you guys probably, a good number of people do this stuff for fun, right? We're all hobbyists in some way. Like, I obviously play around with this stuff all over in my home lab, even when I'm not at work. This is all my home lab stuff, right? A bunch of this stuff is exposed for people to connect into that do Linux in our professional Linux users group, right? Down the Discord. A bunch of the stuff you guys can get into. But that being said, this is just me playing around. Then you guys can go and you guys can get involved with doing this professionally, and it can be valuable to you. It can change your career, right? Maybe you were slicing bagels and now you're at least a basic Linux systems administrator making something, and then as you prove yourself over time, you're going to move up and get paid more and more and all that good stuff. All right, where's my thing we were working on? We were here. All right, so there's Ranger Camp. Look, Ranger's turned around so everybody can feel sorry for him. But we were over here, and we were looking at the Prometheus Certified Associate, and I'm over here, and I'm putting together, I've got one more thing. Learning and dashboarding. Okay. So we got all that. There's questions. Good. All right. This test is, feel free pull requests if something's not up to date. I like when Git does that, when people are like, hey, just do a pull request and fix something. If it's busted, that's fine. The exam cost for this is $250 for people that choose to go take the test. You don't have to take the test to hang out with us. It's like you don't have to, do any of that stuff. It's just right now it is 40% off, so I think it's like $175 or something. So that's a little more reasonable. But here's a bunch of their curriculum stuff. So he's got all of this stuff that maps with this, and we're going to go read about it a little bit and play with it and figure it out. All right. There's a lot of stuff that we already do, like in the home lab and in some of our other labs. That's why I gave you guys all of those links to the lab stuff. So we'll do that. But we're going to go and we're going to read some of the stuff and pull some of the information over here. So that's kind of my goal here. Also, why is this? Oh, this is the new one. This is the new one. He's got the new stuff here. I gotta take the new stuff. Let's go real quick to Prometheus. PCA. We're gonna go to their actual training portal. We're gonna go grab their real stuff. So thanks for the follows, guys. People that I've missed. Oh, I don't want to go here. I've already purchased that. I don't need to do that again. I want their Prometheus PCA Linux Foundation. I'll spell it right there. Okay, here's our PCA. All right, this is what I want. And what I want specifically is this right here. Here's their different things. And it does look like, yeah, I got the wrong stuff. Okay, so I want to go with the most updated version of this stuff. So that's what I'm going to go with. Also, man, we just hit an hour. I can't believe I've been on here for an hour. What technology are you looking for? Get out of here. All right, let's fix these. These are all busted. Got the wrong stuff. Man, I wonder how many of those. I think I got most of the newer ones on my other ones. All right, so we need to know all these things. Come down here. Let's go look at our next one. System architecture, configuration, and scraping, understanding Prometheus limitations, data model and labels, exposition format. Good, we need that. Do this. Selecting data. Rates and derivatives. Aggregations over time, aggregations over dimensions, binary operators, histograms, and timestamp metrics. Okay, those are all right. And then client library is good. All right. So we're just grabbing stuff down, guys. We're just grabbing the things that we want to go read about. Okay. So that's that. And by the way, if anybody does want to take this, you don't go here. You go up here and you see they're 40% off, and you go grab the. So if you are looking for, certification, some of the guys were talking about their organizations were paying for certs. They have a lot of training in here that's like 40% off, so you get a good amount of bundled stuff. Some people were going to go and one of our guys was going to take CKA, CKAD, and CKS. That's pretty valuable. That's probably you're probably saving about $400 there too. But anyways, here's the Linux certified foundation. Oh, this is the one that we're doing, PCA. That's the one I'm working on. But some of our guys went and passed recently. We had one guy pass the CKS recently. That was chicken biryani. And then one of our guys passed the LFCS probably about 6 months ago now. I think Sending took it before he moved. So he's going to come talk to the group too. So if you guys know who Sending Grounds is, he hasn't been on in a while, but he streams on Twitch. And his stuff's pretty good. But anyways, point is, don't pay full price for anything on the internet ever. Always go look for a deal, right? But they got deals running right now. That's why I signed up to take this. So, all right. So let's get down here. Let's get to observability concepts, and we'll go over here, and we'll look at a lot of this stuff is going to drop us right in their page and have us be able to go look at the core metrics stuff, right? So we'll come here, and we're going to call this. On each of this, we're going to just call these. I don't know how I want to do this. I guess I can do metric types. I can just do it like that. That's probably easier. Yeah. Metric types. So we'll add these in. You got a counter, a gauge, a histogram, and a summary. We got to know how those work. But again, this is one of those things where if we come over here, and we can look at it here. We can also, in the home lab here, where's Ranger Cam? I was just looking at it. I can also come over here and go to my Prometheus server. Where's Prometheus in my home lab? Gotta find him. He is 193, right? He's the 193 box. So I come back over here and I go 192.168.11.193 9090. All right, here's my Prometheus. So as I go and start to look at these and want to pull data out, by the way, I also have real-time data being fed into this from my targets. So my targets are different nodes in my environment that I'm pulling Prometheus data from. Now, you might say, Scott, well, why don't you just hand this over to Grafana? You're always talking about that. Well, this certification is about this piece in the middle, so we're going to stay on the piece in the middle. Could we come over here and go to, another Ranger Cam, and then, or actually, let's go to 218, which is the other environment. Could we come here and go look at some of our environments? What are some of our things that actually use web server information? This is all based on Prometheus right here. Right? Is this Prometheus? Let me go look. You say, how would you know if it was Prometheus? Well, right here, I can see the data source is Prometheus, and the way that I've queried the data is right here with a sum and I rate against node CPU seconds total, and then I get it for whatever node that I want to look at for the last 5 minutes. Right? That's kind of how you read this. But I come over here, and I can see some of those same metrics. I can go click on, what was that node? It was any node, right? I can go click on any node and see its current metrics inside of the time series database. But I can also query against the metrics. So that's what we're going to be working on here in a second. So my point in showing you guys all this, we've kind of been laying the groundwork here of I've got a lab environment that you guys can use from Killer Coda for free. There's that other lab environment on Killer Coda that you guys can use for free, where you can go and build an environment like this and have data that's being passed in there so that you can start to work on building some of these skills or whatever, right? The PCA, if you're going to take the certification, doesn't have any hands-on, so you don't have to build Prometheus like this. But it does behoove you, I think, like for me, I like to get my hands on stuff because I understand it better if I go break it down and stuff, right? So there's a lot of information being shown here, which is also probably valuable to the system in general. Let me show you guys one last thing before we're gonna start digging into this here in a second. I want to show you guys one last thing that I think, yeah, I was here on the Linux admin. The node exporter, when I push the node exporter everywhere in my environment, I also had to tell Prometheus that it could scrape those nodes. Actually, fun fact, I gotta fix this. I gotta do this right now. I'm gonna push this to all my environment real quick. But real quick, let's watch this. Let's go Prometheus here. Let's go look at it. So roles, node exporter, tasks, and then in here, let's go with our main.yaml, and it's gonna push over node exporter. Actually, it's gonna create the user first. It's going to push over the node exporter. It's going to push over the service. It's going to start the service. If we had a firewall, we would allow it through, but we don't have a firewall. And then we're going to do this little thing. We're going to have a Prometheus scrape directory on only the Prometheus node. So that's a variable. And then we're going to do this little diddle right here, where we're going to copy in an etc Prometheus and the name of the server into our Prometheus node for each of the different servers that we run this against. So, 1 second real quick, just watch this. We're going to SSH to Prometheus, and we're going to CD to etc Prometheus. And in here, look at all these little ones that have been created. Now, I could have put them down in their own nodes directory or whatever, but I put them in here because I didn't really care that much since it's a home lab. In my professional ones that I run, I put them down in their own little nodes. I think this was when I first deployed it. But could I, actually, now that I think about it, I don't have to fix them because here's all the ones that we wanted to track. So, more of this. And there he is. There's one of our dungeon servers. We have servers that are tagged as dungeons, and his 192.168.200.101 is running on that node. Next, Moses. This is awesome. I have Stefan's doc prompt stacked for my Docker containers in my lab, but I'd like to expand upon it, learning how it's really working. Nice. What's Stefan Prodan doc prompt stack? I don't know what that is. Is that a person's? Let me look at this real quick. I'm just throwing in keywords here. Ah, look at this. Docker hosts and containers monitor with Prometheus, Grafana, C advisor node. Oh, look at that. All kinds of cool stuff. Yeah. Look at that. By the way, guys, if this looks like a really quick way, so like this could be another way, looking at this, like a really quick way to get this up and running. Was that how you used it next, Moses? Just to have it up? I think this is awesome. So I'm gonna put this down. I'm gonna add this. So, and I'm going to say quick stand up in your own lab, right? It works out of the box, yeah. Home lab, build, and then let's say quick setup right there. Boom. There we go. So I've been building this so that people that come along later and they're like watching this and then they join the Discord and they're like, what the hell was that guy talking about? Here's a lot of the stuff that we're doing. I'm going to be adding to this. This is down in our projects channel. So we got a lot of stuff going on in our Discord, right? We barely hit 1,000 people after 5 years. In March, we're almost at 5 years now. But in March we hit 1,000 people, and then now we're just shy of 2,000. So we've had this real big growth because I've been putting stuff out on YouTube more. So I don't know. Apparently people like that. What happened here? I missed some stuff. When I discovered sudo, it was your birthday. If you get all these certificates as a game changer job market wise, Cameron, I think it gets you in the door. I had a different talk I did the other day where it was about like, yeah, in the systems world, people do put a lot more, I think, stock on, have you touched all the pieces? Like RHCSA is a big one, RHCE are big ones, but some of these other ones, they're more specialized. But I'm kind of like, I hate to say it like this, but this is kind of a way for me to think of it, is like I'm kind of like at the end of my career, so I'm just kind of like doing side quests, right? But that being said, as a systems engineer, I want as much visibility into the systems that I build as possible. And these tools are really the modern way of doing it. The old way of doing it, where we just pushed Nagios and then just did a bunch of alert checks, that works. But Nagios is this big monolithic app that does everything. And then you got to push its libraries everywhere, and you got to do checks by different types of methods and stuff. And it's just the more modern way of doing things. And I've got a whole spiel on monitoring. The more modern way is to put Grafana at the end of everything. Put Grafana over here, and then have some time series databases in the middle, like InfluxDB, or in this case Prometheus, and then just throw data at them. Throw data at InfluxDB, have Prometheus polls data, so have it pull data from the servers and gather stuff. There also is a way to push data to Prometheus. It's not the normal way that it works, but it is a way that you can push data up there. So there's that kind of stuff. Chico, you probably already left, but thanks for the drop in, and you guys are welcome to watch the replay. By the way, one thing that I haven't been really pushing a lot is in the Discord. If you ever find me doing something on stream here on Twitch or on YouTube, and you're like, man, what the hell was that guy doing? Or you think that like it magically worked for me, but it doesn't work for you. If you clip it or give me a timestamp, we got a channel right here where it's Twitch, YouTube questions. You can ask me or the other guys, and we'll try to figure it out for you, right? Like engineers, we're trying to help. We're trying to get you guys to do this stuff. And if you're stuck on something, especially if you're legitimately stuck on something, you're like, I saw the guy do it. I don't know what assumption he made to get there. And if you need that kind of stuff, that's like kind of what we're here for. So, okay. This is super cool, though. Look, if you really wanted to run this in your home lab, look how easy it would be to set up. This guy's just got a doc prom, and it'll build all your stuff out for you. Right there. Boom. Stand it up. You've got Prometheus, so you could do all this Prometheus stuff. That's man. I joke around sometimes and say that's better than a kick in the pants, but that definitely is, right? Just pulling all this stuff down and have it gathering all that data for you. That's a lot of tooling right there to play with and to understand. And you know, this may sound silly. You guys may think that I'm just emphasizing it, but in big clusters that I work on that are big high-performance compute clusters, we have Grafana as the endpoint. We have node exporters, pushing up data on the servers, and we do have Prometheus querying across thousands of servers in the environment. And it just works. It works. And Prometheus in our case, Prometheus gathering node exporter from about 1,200 nodes, filtered, and Prometheus out of the box comes with 14 or 15 days of metrics before it prunes itself out. I changed that to 31, and 31 days at about 1,200 nodes, just gathering every 10 seconds, is right around 750 gigs of data. That's not heavy, guys. That's, you know what it costs for 1 terabyte per year for storage for a company? 1 terabyte for the whole year. I'd have to look it up, but I mean it's in the pennies. It's in the penny. It's definitely not much more than $1, if it's even $1, for 1 terabyte to be stored for the whole year, and that's about what we cost for our monitoring in our environment. Oh yeah, could we put it on all these redundant things? Yeah, that's where we're going. But in our environment that's currently production, it's a proof of concept that became production. It's only 700. I think it's about 750, 780 gigs. Point is, it's nothing, even across 1,200 nodes, right? So. And 31 days, which 31 days is good enough for all of your actionable data and a reasonable amount of historical data. Some people like to go like 90 days or something like that, but 30 days on a system is very easy to see when you're peaking high past a high water mark or something. So it's pretty okay. All right. But then again, you might say 1 terabyte, that's nothing. I could throw 20 terabytes on the server and just store things forever. You probably could. 100%. Any news on the official release of Windows 11 LT? I know that Windows 11 tried to put itself on my computer this morning. I know Windows 11 is always getting pushed, but no, I don't know anything about Windows 11. I'm a Linux guy. But professionally, I'm a Linux guy anyways. All right, let's discard that. We don't want to make changes. So Home Lab, we can touch stuff here. We can do our Prometheus. I know that's bright. I don't know if Prometheus has a dark mode. Oh, it does. Look, boom. There's my dark mode Prometheus. Yeah, it's not super pretty, but at least it won't blow any of your eyeballs out. All right. So we'll start going through here and gathering the information, and I'll start adding more to it. But we're going to run through it. We're going to touch it. We're going to do some queries on it. Yeah, Doc, thanks for coming by on the YouTube side. I definitely appreciate anytime you guys are talking and keeping me motivated and stuff. So there's that. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take a break real quick. We'll drop to Ranger Cam real quick. Where's Ranger at? There's Ranger. Put on Ranger Cam. That's super cool, that doc prompt stuff. There's Ranger Cam. I'll turn myself off for a second. And, oops, go back to Ranger Cam. And we will go to Hourglass. And I'm going to tell you guys to... We're not going to take 26 minutes, don't worry. But say, take a quick break. Quick break and Ranger treat. Right? So go walk around, stretch your legs. I'll put 10 minutes. I don't normally take a break this long, but relax. Hang out a second. We're gonna dig into this here in a second. I've been dilly-dallying and show you guys around, and I want to get in there and start really building this out. So we'll start that next. Oops, don't want to kick that over. Almost kicked my green screen over. Hold on a second here. Am I still good? Yep, still good. All right, I'll be back. All right, I'm back. You guys see Ranger get his little treat? Ranger's out there chilling. It's also kind of cloudy in Phoenix, surprisingly, which is not the norm for this time of year. And it only got to 101 today, so that's pretty reasonable, I guess. It could have been up in the 110. I think it was 111 the other day, so that's fun. It's barely June and super hot. All right. Where are we at here? Got people here. We're doing our labs. All right. Ranger's licking his treat. I'll let you guys hang out and finish up your break. Just hang out down here and listen to some music. Check on the Discord. See how everybody's doing down in Discord. Pull this over here out of the way. You guys are welcome to hang out down there, by the way. Discord is free. You know, hang out down there and see what's going on. We're also getting dangerously close to 2,000 people. You can do a user count in the server. We're at 1963. It's a good year, 1963. I don't have anything from there particularly, but all right. See what's going on here. All right. Good. PowerPoint. Oh yeah, Sobu. Yeah, that's I don't get that question very often anymore, but yeah, it's text to speech is through PowerPoint. There's actually just a PowerPoint sitting behind all this in actual presentation mode, and when you do that, it will do closed captioning for you if you want, and it works pretty good. But it doesn't let me swear. It does not let me swear, guys. I've tried. It'll by the way, it'll let me say damn. And it will let me say God. But it will not let me say those two words together. Well, I can say whatever I want, right? But it will not post those two together. And if I drop an F-bomb, it'll tell me that. It'll do that, but it won't say the word. So, by the way, if anybody wonders how that works, that is definitely on the back end. That is definitely all. It's all going up to the cloud for Azure. And you say, how do you know that? Well, I know that because I've had connection problems here before. In fact, it's dropped stream before on you guys. This was a few months back. And this went to can't connect. And it kept trying to connect, but it wasn't working. And I'm like, that's clever. But I guess, we're already sending it up to Twitch and YouTube. So what do I care if Microsoft also gets ahead of, So Twitch is Amazon. YouTube is Google. And that's Microsoft. I guess we're giving it to all the big ones. And well, I guess my phone's also listening. That's probably a fair amount of Google listening as well. So if I had an Apple phone, we'd be giving it to all of the big ones, right? So, all right. By the way, my timer is going to coincide almost directly with my ad break. So I guess that makes sense. So we'll get started here right at the end of ads over on the Twitch side. Then we'll go back to this. I'll play with my little knife for a little bit. Hopefully I don't cut myself here. Yeah, I had never seen one of these little cool guys. You guys ever seen one of these? It's like a little clockwork. It almost reminds me of like a steampunk thing. It just rotates. Rotates down. It's pretty cool. I'll send that over to the wife. She's going to be like, who gave you that? And I'm going to be like, I don't know, one of the guys did. I know who the guy was. That's pretty cool little. And then it's got a little. What's this? Ooh, it's got like a little lanyard. Like I could wear it around my neck. Cut people with it. Oh, I'm kidding. Alright. It's kind of cool though. That's the only thing I got for my birthday, besides just getting older. I'm just kidding. I'm not complaining. I got nothing to complain about. Alright. We're gonna dig into these labs here in a second. And I'll stop playing with my knife on stream. There's probably like some terms of service or something like, what's this guy doing playing with knives on stream? I don't know. I mean, I'm not playing with guns on stream, right? So I guess that's better. All right, we'll stop that. There's our break. Move that out of the way. Ranger's down there licking his bed. Let's move off of this, and we'll go over here and we'll drop into. So we've got over here on metric types. We've got metrics and there's metrics types. Oh, this is just. Hold on. Let's go over here. What am I missing here? Metrics. Yeah, this is just metrics. Boom. Metrics. Hey, Fisherman. Oh, Fisherman, you're here. Did you see me playing with this little thing? I opened it up earlier, so if you want to go look at the stream where I opened it up and tried to fumble around with it earlier. I've never played with one of these little guys. So Fisherman was the one that sent this to me, guys, in case you were wondering. But I had not seen this, and one of the guys mentioned that I guess like a lot of like the bro vet sites or stuff like that, I guess they play with those. I've never seen one of those before, so that was pretty cool. I actually opened it with my own little knife right here, but that's pretty cool. So here, metrics. We're gonna come down here, and we're gonna say metric types, and then we're gonna come down here, and we're gonna say jobs and instances. So what do we want to know about these things? We may have to break these out into more and more. You know, we're gonna add more and more slides to this as we go. Yeah, Fisherman, it ends up being pretty cool, I think. For people that got here later, because I just got off a break, and some of you guys just came back from an ad break on the Twitch side. What we've been doing is grabbing stuff for the Prometheus Certified Associate. And then I was putting down here under the Prologue projects, I was saying for people that want to get the hands-on stuff, here's all of these ways that you could deploy this really quickly. You could do my lab on the server build. You could do the Docker build, which is a lab inside of Killer Coda. Again, both free. And if you have your own little home lab environment, one of the guys mentioned this is really awesome. You can just stand up this dude's doc prom and it just hooks up everything. So that's all cool stuff, right? If you got a little bit of some home lab stuff, you can do it. But what we're going to do is we're going to click these buttons and we're going to go read about this stuff, look at this stuff, and probably come back and play with it inside of Prometheus as much as we can. Like as much hands-on stuff as I can dig into this, I'm going to. Or we just try to figure it out, right? Also, wait, I need one more command line thing. Hold on. I'm on this box. I'm on the Prometheus box. Let's do a couple things. Do I have... Which Python... Oh, yeah, I got... What? Root at Prometheus. Which Python? It doesn't look like I have... So I don't... Oh, it's probably Python 3. Hold on. So I do have Python. So that's good. Because if there's any of these client things that we're going to mess with, I'm going to use Python for it, right? On this. And you know what? I don't want to do it on the Prometheus box directly. But I do need to know the prom from Etsy hosts, right? There's my Prometheus server in case I need it, right? I could also store that as like a Prometheus like environment variable if I want. I could just say Prometheus equals, I don't know. And then I'll just have it. Whoops. Oh, I don't need any of that. Let's just do single quotes like that. I'm so used to pulling information that I don't even know how to set a variable anymore. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so I got Prometheus. So anyways, if some of the stuff that we're going to go do leads us into writing some scripts or copying scripts and practicing with them, I'll have the Prometheus there. I don't have to remember it, right? Because you guys will find that I forget all kinds of little stuff, so I keep notes and reference things. I actually think that's a big part of being an engineer is giving yourself checklists, organizing stuff into outlines, being able to work through things that are repeatable. Because like one of the values you bring as an engineer to a company is it's not figuring stuff out. Figuring out stuff out is a big part of it, but that's like junior level and mid tier. When you want to get like senior, it's not just figuring stuff out, it's having figured stuff out before, so you figure stuff out faster. So there's Baraga. Forgetting is one of my superpowers. Yeah, Baraga is one of my actual brothers, not like I'm saying, oh hey, that's my brother. Hey Baraga, you want to see something cool? One of the guys sent me this. So Fisherman there, he sent me over this little snap lock by Crict, CRIKT. And what this is it almost looks like a little steampunk thing to me. But you push it here, and then it actually opens the knife out sideways. So the knife kind of blade goes like this. I know some of you guys are probably like, can you stop playing with that on stream, dude? And I'm like, yeah, I can't. I got a sickness now. But it's kind of cool. It goes and then it just like snaps right on your... Thought it was a harmonica. No, it's like a little blade. So while you were all studying Linux, I trained with the blade. So I'll be ready for... It's a knife. You can't not play with a knife. Yeah. My one knife that's down in my truck, the very first day I ever bought it, This is funny. I think it's funny. My son thinks it's really funny. And my buddy, that house it happened to, he also thought it was funny. But I was just snapping it open and pushing my thumb in and closing it. So I was going like this. Just snap it open, thumb in, close it. Snap it open, push my thumb in, close it. Snap it open, push my thumb in. And I go, what the? And I open it up and it almost cut the end of my thumb off right here. I actually have a little bit of a scar from it. But then I just held it shut like this, and I'm like, I'm not looking at it. And then me and my buddy Josh, we went over to a Walmart. No, it was a Walgreens, and we bought the little liquid glue stuff, and we just glued it shut. And I just left it shut, and it was fine. It was good. The green screen makes it hard. Oh yeah, sorry. The green screen makes it hard to see, but it's a pretty cool little. Yeah, super glue works all right. This little knife thing's pretty cool. And then it's you do like a little push on it, and it just opens up, and it swivels. And this little thing, push that way, swivels back. So hopefully you guys can see that. I don't know. Anyways, yeah, super glue works. Yeah, that basically is just super glue. And actually, on New Year's Eve a couple years ago, my wife was. We have a couple of it's a whole set of really nice knives. And she had the long bread knife, which is like a long skinny knife, and she picked it up and she just opened her fingers up like down to the bone. And I told her, because it was New Year's Day and we had the family in town, I said, I think it was one of the fingers just open. It was like down to the bone. And I said, well, hold on. Do you want to go to the ER? And she's like, I really don't want to go to the ER. So I ran over to Walgreens again, and I bought that stuff, and then I bought like some butterflies, like the little butterfly things. Same thing basically as stitches. And we just did some hydrogen peroxide, closed it up, and kept an eye on it, and she was fine. But she's got a nice little scar on her finger from that. But I bought all these like gloves for her when she's washing dishes, because like she insists on doing them like that. That was Jeff's birthday, and she couldn't make it because she sliced herself real good. Yeah, that's true. All right, yeah, that was a couple of years ago, wasn't it? All right, I've talked enough. Let's get to it. I really want to dig in. So what are we doing in this presentation that I'm putting together? We're getting ready for the Prometheus Certified Associate. Why? One, I'm doing side quests later on in my career. And two, I just want to understand Prometheus better. And the test was on sale. So it was 40% off. So it was like $175. And I was like, that's reasonable. So we've put down all the high-level things that we need to know from the different domains. And now we're at the start, and I've got this set up so that we can pull it up, and let's go through it. So here we are on the metrics. We got metrics types and jobs and instances. So what's our metrics types here? Well, it says right here that our metrics types are counters, counter, gauge, histogram, and summary, right? So I need to know that. And maybe as we click on each of these, it's going to take us to each part of it. So that might be kind of valuable. I could probably actually grab each of these and put them in. I hate when they do that. We'll go. So we'll have this for later, right? And counter gauge. Oops. Doesn't matter. Gauge. Histogram. And maybe, you know what? Maybe it would be better. Let me just go here. Refresh this page. Maybe we just start with the metrics types like this. And we just go here. I'm not going to put that for each one because that's dumb, right? So let's get rid of this. Boom. Boom. Get out of here. Come on, what are you doing? Piling up on top of each other. All right, there we go. I remember, man, it was Jeff's birthday. Yeah, that's true. All right, so metrics, and then it says the counter is a cumulative metric that represents a single monotonically increasing counter. So what the hell's a monotonic, right? That's a type of function. So down here, in our discussion of this, you need to understand monotonic. They are a function, and it is either increasing or decreasing over time, right? A function is called monotonically increasing if it preserves the order and continuously moves in. So increasing or decreasing set of data, right? And I don't know if set is the way that they call it that, but they're calling here in calculus function a subset of subset and set kind of go back and forth. but a subset, obviously, as opposed to a superset, right? But that's fine. We should be able to call it a set without angering. I have some friends that are like PhDs in mathematics, and I'd probably anger them by calling it that. But I'm okay with it like that. So all right, so we go back here. We go. Oops. Oh no. Open that in a new window. Damn it. All right, here we go. Open that new window. Here, counters, gauges, histograms, and I should be able to. So let's go look in the Python client for a counter. And here we go. So the counters go up. Boom, right? And we're going to play with our counters a little bit inside of the system. So let's pull this up. Let's go pull up my system here. And we'll go over here. From Prometheus client, import that. From a counter, my failures, description of counter, C increment by 1, C inc. So this is... I am trying to figure out... Hold on. That's fine, but I need to... I'm okay with importing counter, all this stuff. The problem is I don't see where they have me connecting. Hold on real quick. Custom counter. All right, so that might be useful with Prometheus client. But no, I need... let's go back to my counter. I'm okay with the counter go up part of it. What I need to do is make sure that I have the connection. So do they have the setup for the connection here? Again, I'm not a coder, guys. This isn't what I do. But so install my Prometheus client. Okay, here's my part that'll get me set up. Prometheus client. Oh, I don't want to run it like that. I don't want to run it locally. Let me see here. All right, well, this would let us start it on 8,000 if we wanted to. I don't need to do any of that because I've got a running Prometheus instance right here, right? So I don't need to go do that part of it. They're doing that like if you're on your own little system. But I've got Prometheus here. So I don't really need to do that part of it. But where the hell? You would think that they would just be able to... All right, well, screw it. There's our gauge. There's our summary. Give us a summary. And here's a histogram. But I need to figure out... So hold on. I need the connect string. So... Well, this is wonderful, but... You would think that they would have the initial... It's all useful, but it doesn't help me with... Doesn't help me with what I want. I want the connect. Probably why I should be doing... I should probably have like Copilot on inside of like VS to do this because it would probably be easier. I don't want to do any of that. Don't want to do any of that. Don't want to do any of that either. Alright, well. I'll figure that part out later, and we'll do that later. But we won't connect. You'd think it would be the first thing they'd want you to do is just be able to connect to... Oh, fuck it, I don't care. Alright. So let's go back. Hold on, I didn't mean to close that down. We'll keep going. Let's go look at jobs and instances. What are jobs and instances? So in Prometheus terms, an endpoint you can scrape is called an instance. So we need that little piece of information. Jobs and instance. Any endpoint that you can scrape is called an instance. It's good to know, right? That's probably a technical thing that they're going to ask you on one of these certs. And then a job collection of instances with the same purpose. A process replicated for scalability or reliability, for example, is called a job. So jobs are collections of instances and then instance there we go. BU. Well, I mean, bold underline. Jobs and instances. Jobs are collections of instances, so that should be defined after, technically. There we go. All right. Jobs and instances. So automatically generate labels and time series. So okay, so jobs, you can define jobs inside of your Prometheus. So over here, if I SSH to my, I can actually just go to Prometheus and then CD to Etsy Prometheus. And in here, if I go look at any one of these, right, he's got a job of node. So jobs are all, and if I were to grep let's just say job from anything JSON, right? You would see here's all the jobs that I have. Now, all the jobs in my environment, so I have chosen in my case to, in that key value pair of JSON there, say that all of my jobs are nodes. So that's going to come through when you actually go look at my Prometheus. And in my home lab, there's one lab that specifically uses that, and that's the dungeon. Where's the dungeon stats? Here. So the dungeon stat stuff is all pulling from inside of... actually, I take it back. That's not pulling from that. That's pulling from InfluxDB. So I lied to you. Which one do I have that uses Prometheus? Well, for sure web server does. Discard. Web server does. And if we go look at any of these here, well, we're just picking them there. But inside of here, we can pull things, in this case, mode system instance equals anything node, whatever the node is that I've selected up here. And that node's a variable that gets passed through in Grafana. That's fine. And then they're doing sum irate. So the sum of the irate of node CPU over the last amount of time, right? That's how these things are read. Where, though? In this case, we're not picking it by its job label. But we could. And then team, some of my things are team infra. Those are my home lab stuff. And then team dungeon. And I can use that to, you can use as many key value pairs as you want. But in my case, I could have also, I see now, have used jobs as the, instead of all of my jobs being nodes, and then the teams being the tag for infra or dungeon. You can see them split here. So yeah, everything's a node, but some things are dungeons and some things are infrastructure, right? If you guys see that, that's just how the home lab ended up falling. That's how I ended up doing it. But I can still then, when I go query, maybe we just need to start with a whole new page. We'll just go make a whole new dashboard for this. We'll just start grabbing stuff out of Prometheus, right? So I'm going to say my data source here is going to be Prometheus. And then here's our query. If we want to do a PromQL query, we can just drop it right in here and start pulling data out of the system. And we can see what the data available is right over here. So, all right. But I don't want to jump too ahead of myself, right? I'm kind of jumping around a little bit because that's what I do when I'm looking for stuff. But we have jobs and instances. All right, so we have that. Jobs, the configured job name that it belongs to. Instance is the host and the port, part of the target URL that was scraped. Okay, that's good info to know right there. Either of these labels are already presented in the scrape data. The behavior depends on the honor labels configuration. See scrape config documentation for more about that. All right, so up, job, name, instance ID. So when you query stuff, you can do it like this. So let's say that in this case, so we can see if a system is just reachable or not. And in this case, we know the, where the hell is that? Hold on. Let's move this over to the far right here. So that as I'm reading any of these things, it's just the right of it. Where was I just at? Job. Okay, there we go. And we want to go over here. And we're going to drop this in as a PromQL query. But instance ID I need to change. I need to use one of these instances over here. And the instance is the full 192.168.11.20. Let's say 219 for now, because 219 and port 9100. I could also have used instances like something, and then you can use regex, or you can only search part of it if you want to. But let's say that I just wanted the uptime of this, and then my panel type needs to change off of a time series, which actually, since, so I don't know if you guys saw that. Let's come back here. The up is going to be a 0 or 1. It's a 1 if the instance is healthy, or a 0 if it's unreachable. So I come back over here, and now this node is either going to be a 1 or a 0. So there's all these different visualizations in Grafana, and for me, for this one, I'm probably okay with this. This could be a time series. Just show me a bunch of 1s and then drop to 0 if it's dead. I like gauges for this kind of stuff, but let's see if I run the query, if that comes up as a 1. It did not. 11.219.0. That was my target, or my instance. Did not work. Okay. Job equals job name. I need my job name. My bad. What was my job name? All my jobs are nodes. So I'm not differentiating in any way there. This could hit any of the nodes, but my instance is that 1. So this should go 0 or 1 right here. It's 0. Well, that seems weird, because I would think that if I go look at 192.168.11.219 right here, right, this is how we go figure out the data. You only have to do a lot of this stuff the first time, guys, and then once you figure it out, then you don't ever have to go look at it like this again. But let's go here, and let's go to 192.168.219.9100, right? Oh, he's he is down. Well, I mean, at least we know it works. Guys, come on. That's kind of funny. I did not plan that. I just happened to pick one, and it just happened to be down. And then it just happened to not be able to give me the metrics. That's kind of funny. But why is 219 down? All right, let's SSH to, so let's grab, oh my God, that's funny. 219 from my Etsy hosts. Fucking Grafana. Grafana's the old one. But what's down about it? Is the host actually down, right? No, the host has been up for 167 days, but I bet you his node exporter's down. So systemctl status node exporter. Node exporter service is up. That's weird. But hold on. Systemctl status firewall D. Ah, but his firewall is on. So let's do systemctl stop firewall D, and then we'll go ahead and stop that. And I wonder if this also immediately comes back. So, fun fact, right here, this will immediately, as it can, go to 1. That's funny. I did not intend for that. Last 6 hours, it doesn't matter. It shouldn't be aggregating, it should just be the last. We want the last version, the last value. Right? That's fine. Run query. There's 1. All right, so now our node's up. How do you deal with Etsy host files on your lap? Sobu, I'm lazy as crap, so I do them as static files. But I do need to one of these days set up DNS because I run DNS everywhere. But can I tell you, a lot of times in the systems world, we really do just set things as a host. We take an IP address out of an IPAM, which is IP Address Manager. So IPAM is a nice little term for you guys to know in the industry. And so look at this, guys. By the way, I know that I'm doing a lot of stuff, and I've told you guys this before, and some of you probably haven't believed me, but now you're seeing it. If you were to watch me do things throughout the day, you would be like, this guy is absolutely insane. How the hell does he get anything done? I know that that's what it looks like. But what you just saw me do was get the node and the instance from this little diddle that they gave here, and we got that to work all the way from an instance that I didn't even know was down on its node exporter wasn't able to get out from the firewall. It was pushing the data up, but it was blocking, so the scraping from Prometheus couldn't work. Now the scraping from Prometheus does work to it, so we got that part going. And then now over here, I could call this a panel of, so we'll just apply this and save it. And now I'm just going to call this new dashboard, like, I don't know, we'll just call this lab servers up down status, right? All the lab server up down. Boom, right there. Katie Schatz said, do I know about science? I'm studying for my tests tomorrow. Katie Schatz, or K. Schatz, I'm probably not the best for your science. I understand the scientific method pretty well, and I understand how to put science into action as far as testing and working through things. But if you're studying for the test, best thing you can do is turn stuff off. Turn this all off. Side note, as I'm a guy that also is working through school, I'm finishing up my doctorate right now. As a master's level and a doctorate level, you don't really take tests anymore. Did you guys know that? I don't know if anybody's ever told you that. You really only get... I would turn the stream off. I would stop watching me. I would study if it were me. But maybe, I don't know, maybe I'm soothing or something. But my point in saying all that is, as an engineer, or as a academic and as going to school and teaching, you don't really have any tests after your bachelor's level. When you get onto your master's, you will write. You may have some writing examinations, but essay writing will be second nature to you by that point. Trying to study my Regents preparation and find it hard. What are you doing? Is it chemistry? I'm no good for chemistry. When I watched Breaking Bad years ago, I wished I had been a chemist instead of an engineer. But no, I am no good for anything in that kind of realm. Living environment, okay. Yeah, I'm no good for any of that stuff. Yeah, biology, that kind of stuff. I mean, I'm okay at biology, but the reason, fun fact, well, there's two reasons I'm not a doctor. One, I'm colorblind, so when I was doing med science in high school, I did all the nursing stuff that we had at my school, and I really enjoyed it. But one thing is that I can't see color right, so I was like, I probably can't do medicine. So then I went in the Army Infantry, and the Army Infantry is why I couldn't be I couldn't take a Hippocratic oath, so it wouldn't make any sense for me. So that's my thing on that. So all right, anyways, let's save this dashboard. And up down status, we'll just call it lab health, whatever you have. You don't really have to put things in a folder if you don't want. But this panel title is look at that. We can look at these nodes like this, or I can actually do something here that can save me a lot of trouble. If we come back over here again, and I liked that Prometheus. I liked having this up so we could see all of our different nodes and all of our different stuff. But we could have, over here, we set this as hard values there. Do you guys see that? I put the job instance was node, and then, or the job was node and the instance was like a hard value here. But guys, you could skip all this. You don't have to do it like this. You can actually use variables inside of your dashboard. So you can come here and you can go to variables and you can say, okay, hold on. I'm going to have a variable, and that variable, we're not going to worry about any of these data sources. We'll just name the variable like team maybe. And then the type doesn't have to be query. It can just be text box. It doesn't matter. And then the default value could maybe be dungeon for our dungeon environment in the lab, right? And then descriptive test, boom, apply it. Okay, so now I've applied it, and now I've got this team variable, and the definition for it's always dungeon. It says over here probably that I'm not using it yet. And then I don't remember how to run it, so, or how to call it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go steal something from myself. I always tell you guys about this. Come down here. I know where we have it, and that's in this one right here. So I'm going to go look at this. And in this lab right here, where we're calling any of these variables that we have. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to look at how did we do this? How did we call that? Right here. So we called it as $node, or that's our variable. So for me, my instance will now be, or my team, if I wanted to do team, would be dungeon, right? If I come back over here, get out of here, and I could see team's dungeon by default, and I could make a bunch of these, and then down here, instead of doing an instance, I could do a team. And then what did I call that? What was that variable? It was node, right? So I could do that. This isn't going to work right, but I just wanted to show you guys that you could pick different values here, and then you can change them. And actually, you could have drop boxes, and you do a whole bunch of stuff here. But you could then go query and put those values in right inside of your Grafana. It's actually funny that we're doing so much Grafana. That wasn't really the goal of any of this, but go back to instance. I don't even actually care about that. We'll play with that later. But let's come back over here. So that was our jobs information. We could have scrape duration. So for a certain amount of seconds, we can pull something. We could have scrape samples post-metric relabeling. This is something that I need to understand better, is the relabeling. This is actually one of the things that I want to know for an environment that I'm in. I want to relabel metrics as I call them, because I don't like when they look like this. Let me show you guys in my home lab something that I don't like. Let's go to our Prolog lab servers. Save the dashboard, that's fine. Start of up down dashboard, right? So I'll just start our up down dashboard. So over here, do you guys see this? You see those? Now I can filter through use percentage, device equals DM0, FS tab is XFS, host is Grafana. But the only piece of information that I care here, if you're looking at any one of these, the only piece of information I care about is right in the middle, the host influx DB2, host Loki, host Prometheus. I don't want all that other crap in the description. So to scrape all that off here, I need to do a relabel and pull all that other stuff out. So that's something that I need to understand from my query, and that's something I don't know how to do yet. In fact, I think some of these you see, these are also using the other one. All right, well, don't worry about that, because that's not the right, it's not the right type of data that we're pulling. I have the other ones where I'm doing that. It's I don't know. I don't know where I have any of this stuff anymore, guys. Is it the security one? Where's my security stuff? Here's security. It's the same idea though. Here and oh, my DNS query is giving errors. This one is also come from all right, well, so that doesn't help either. I need to set up more Prometheus in my home lab environment, obviously. But we've got all the Prometheus data. By the way, when I refresh this will go back to good. Watch this. Let's refresh this page. Boom, up. And the reason he's up, where's he at? Is because we took his firewall off, right? Let's disable his firewall. I had a reason at one point why I wanted his firewall on, and I don't care anymore in the home lab, so we'll disable his firewall, get rid of it so it doesn't pop up anymore. Doesn't cause us that headache. All right, cat regex. Yeah, you can do regex for a lot of this stuff. By the way, one of the nice things about when you go look at the raw data here on Grafana is, look, there's each of my key value pairs. So the job is node, the team is infra, team is dungeon, team is dungeon, team is infra. So I know what the purpose of this server is in my environment. I didn't have to use team. I could have done environment, ENV. I could have done purpose. I could key value pairs or whatever you want them to be. All right, I can't believe we made it to 2 hours already. I haven't gotten anything done. I've been talking too much. All right, so those are metrics. See if I can move my damn mouse over here. All right, so metrics, and then what's the next one? Understanding login events. So let's go pop over here again. And understanding login events. So we'll make a new one of these. New slide. It's not the version of the slide I want. So we're going to do a layout. And we're going to make it look like this. Wait, that is what I have. No. Get out of here. All right. That's terrible. We're going to delete them. Duplicate the old one. Easiest way to do it. And this next part is going to be logs and events. Right? Come down here. Get rid of all this stuff, right? Don't need any of that. iMonkey, hey, how's it going? Is this Linux ASMR? I've heard that before. That's one thing. People have said that apparently my voice is soothing, which is funny because I can't imagine that. And and two, I've also been told that I sound like I'm from South Africa. So yeah, I'm from Southwest America. Did I say South? Yeah, I've been told I sound like I'm from South Africa, but I'm from southwest of United States of America. I'm from Phoenix. So, yeah, so there's that. Let's do our logs and events. Let's go look at querying the logs. I actually literally don't know anything about this inside of Prometheus. So there's a query log. Okay, so they're talking about how to log all the queries to a file called Prometheus query.log. And apparently, I can store everything in my Prometheus query log. All right. Okay, if queries log is enabled or disabled. So Prometheus can also expose that. That's good. Format of the query. And one of the things I want to do with this is like put down at the bottom of each of these. I don't know a good way to do this, but I was going to say additional info or reference, but let's not do that yet. Let's just focus on this. All right. So we could turn on and see all of the queries. Prometheus has the ability to log all the queries run to the engine through a log file as of 2.16. I don't know when 2.16 came out. Use of that log file. All right, so you can turn on. Okay, so we can do that. We know that we can do that. Setup is in the normal Etsy Prometheus.yaml. Oh man, I know you're trying to help me out here, PowerPoint, but I don't need you capitalizing shit. We're not Windows here. We're Linux, right? We got to care about upper and lowercase. Weird question. Sorry. What are some advantages, differences between using Prometheus when using SNMP monitoring and something like Libra NMS? Prometheus doesn't use SNMP. So That's actually, so that's good. That's a good thing that'll come up in the architecture. But let me answer that real quick for you. Let's go to an Excalidraw. And what do I have in Excalidraw? Do I have anything on here? I don't. So Excalidraw. If you're ever playing an Excalidraw, you come down here and you switch it to night mode, right? And you're nice and dark. And then you can change whatever you want to. You can open up whatever you want. Get out of here. All right. And then I'll grab my little pen, right? Because I got my little pen here. And the question was SNMP, which is Simple Network Monitoring Protocol. Or, well, it's Simple Network Management Protocol, but most of us just think of it as monitoring because most people don't actually send anything. SNMP-V using something like Prometheus. Right, so that's kind of like the question here. We wanted to compare them a little bit. SNMP has, you can query it. So you can query. You can also query Prometheus, so that's good. SNMP can push traps. So if you guys have ever seen traps being pushed in like an SNMP sense, that works. Prometheus can also do push, but I don't know that well, and not a lot of people use that much, so it'll work. SNMP has you've got to turn on, so there's some security with it, and that's in version 3. Version 2C doesn't really do anything, and neither does version 1, so you're going to have security as version 3, or you're not going to use it probably in your environment. And then Prometheus can do certificates between, you know, how you read the different devices. You have to have a certificate to read if you want to go that route. I've never used Libra NMS, though. That's just a network monitoring server, right? Something like that. But I would tell you that depending on how this, so this looks pretty even, right? Like they're both pretty good there. But where Prometheus is probably more integrated to Grafana, and a lot of people are using Grafana, so that's probably one of the things. I don't know. I doubt that the Libre is. I mean, it could be, could have plugins for it, and you could read it from it. But I mean, I can almost, let me just go check here real quick. I can do a quick check for you. I can go here, and I can go back to this. This is my Grafana instance, right? And I can say configure, discard. Configure a data source, and I'll just add a new data source and say, is Libre, is that what Libre NMS is? I don't know. I've never. Yeah, I can't. So I don't even have. Yeah, I don't. I've never used it, but I can tell you that I don't have some way to integrate it with like what a lot of people use as their endpoint in the network. So I don't know. Like a dashboard for SNMP. Okay. Is it Libre NMS? Oh, that looks. Oh man, that looks so much like the old school of Collect D is okay. I've never heard of these other ones. You can authenticate to it, so that's good. This looks so much to me like the old not Cacti. Cacti's still kicking, but let's go look at the screenshots. What the hell is that monitor? Use it where I work, but I like looking to bring Prometheus and Grafana. Yeah. Well, so one of the nice things about any type of tooling that you add, Node Exporter is very lightweight. It's literally just pushing up the metrics into a web page, and then you just come scrape the web page with Prometheus. So you could add that without even changing what's there for the most part. God, what's the name of that tool? RRD tool, right? Is that what it was? That looks like a lot of the RRD stuff that we used to run back in the day. Anyways, all right. Yeah, so those are kind of my thoughts on that. Don't really need that. Anyways, so let's come back over here. And we are querying all the... Let me go back here. Hold on. So we can turn on the query log. Setup is in the normal Etsy Prometheus. And you set it up like this. So you say global query log file. So just add query log file. And I would use var log Prometheus query dot log, right? Because like I put everything in var log. That's like a sysadmin thing, right? That's like a lot of systems administrator and systems. Zabbix is just what Nagios became, so there's no problem with Zabbix. In fact, we were asked to do it. Was it Lenovo that was using Zabbix or some thing? I never got. I love Nagios for what it does, but Nagios is this big old monolith, and that doesn't really fit with the way a lot of us do systems work now. Like, I love Grafana being my front end. Grafana can go touch any source of data that I would reasonably want to use, and I can pull those things out like blocks and put new ones in as I need to, right? And to me, that's this idea of like modularity and extensibility, right? I can add or remove things as I need. Oh, that thing fucking updated that for me. Lowercase p. Anyways, so that's kind of my thoughts on Zabbix. I don't see anything wrong with it. It's just that's kind of an older way of doing things. Nowadays, we build like data pipelines. We build CI/CD pipelines. Like everything's a pipeline. Start over here, make it through to the end. And then the main thing for us is understand how the data are flowing, right? Where's the... I don't want to pull it up. Yeah, I guess I can do it here. Hold on. Some of you guys haven't seen this before. Some of you guys haven't been around long enough. So if we go to Excalidraw. Excalidraw is one of the best things on the web that I can show you two guys. Like if you just tell me, hey Scott, I want to just draw some stuff up. I go, all right, go ahead. Excalidraw is great for it. You can collaborate with people. I could have all of you in the same one with me drawing on it. I do that sometimes. But let's go open something real quick here. So we'll go here. We'll open up. We'll load it from a file. It's going to overwrite what's there. And let's go look at my home lab monitoring. So if you've never seen the monitoring of the Prolog, let's draw some stuff. No. Hold on, guys. I can't let fishermen do anything. Can't be responsible. What's the... Hold on, I think it's just monitoring. Hold on, where's he at? Here it is. Also, again, you can come down here and you can change this to dark mode. Most of us prefer dark mode. But while it's in dark mode, it also needs to have... Where's the background at? Background needs to be... This is... Alright, well, screw it. I guess we'll go to light mode so that this thing inverts and becomes dark mode. I don't know. I guess that's the weirdest thing I've ever probably had to do. But let's go look at this real quick. Some of you guys have been around for this, but this is my idea of like I can just have Grafana sitting there ready to catch anything, and then all of the different pieces can be over here. And this is actually my lab monitoring architecture right here. This is how I do it in the lab. Hot Mike Bass Guy. I was watching another one of your videos and forgot to check it when you were getting on. Yeah, I'm just hanging out. I mean, look, guys, this is Thursday night, so it's not like anything super serious for me. And Shaq, I'm just going to call you Shaq. Thanks for the Prime. You could use that anywhere, and you chose to use it here, so that always feels good. Yeah, here, I'll share this with you guys. If anybody wants this drawing, let me show you this. So we could start a session, copy the link. Oh, this is scary. I'm gonna link this for you guys over on the Twitch side. This scares me. You can't just click out of Twitch, though. You have to actually go pull it out of there and then put it in because there's a comma. Twitch doesn't do it. On the YouTube side, you can just see it. And, yeah, I know. It's terrible. But now you guys can get in there, and I can see how many of you are in here, and you guys can draw on this with me. But it's not going to ruin my version. So why it doesn't matter to me is I've got my version saved of it, but any of you guys can get it. There's oh geez, oh god, get out of here. Move over here so I'm out of the main blast zone over there. But the point is, you guys can draw on this, right? I could add. Let me Control Z that. I could add a box over here. I could put my stroke can be white, right? Or let's just go blue. I don't know what that color is. Oops. That's unfortunate. Oh, geez. I never know what's going to be over here when I get back over here. All right. Anyway, so you guys have these things that you can go play with, right? This would have been good to start with because figured out it would be move away from Zabbix and Greylog. Yeah, I'm a big fan of this. This is what I do in my home lab, and I've implemented this in some high performance compute. It's reasonably lightweight. It works very well. It's very responsive, and it just gives us the data that we need, right? So, but yeah, if you guys have never used Excalidraw, I originally saw Rob working on it, RWX Rob, and this is one of the best little things to do. Like if you wanted to collaborate with some people, and sometimes I've pulled this up before and given you guys like stuff to work on where you could draw stuff out as we do labs and stuff, and it actually ends up being pretty good. Like I can go look at your labs as you're drawing the little pieces out or whatever. I can show you guys that if you want. This will actually stay for you guys. Oh, what's going on here? All right, nothing too bad's going on there. Let me change this to. I'm going to open a different file. I don't think this will. I don't think this will change what you guys see, but maybe you guys might want to save it. So if you're on there, hold on. If you're on there and you want a copy of this, just go save to a file, and it'll save it on your local machine if you needed it. There's Trustworthy Gazelle. Pretty sure those are just names that they come up with. I'm going to open something else real quick just to show you guys what I mean by that. Let's look at like the NFS challenge. So I'll give you guys a second to save that if anybody's in there that needs to save it. And then we'll go here. So here's the NFS challenge. And the NFS challenge kind of looked like this. Now I got to go back to dark mode. And I think you guys are still in there. You guys it shouldn't have kicked any of you out. Let's go back to dark mode because now it's in dark mode correctly. And let's grab this. And what I used to do is I would just grab all these and I would just make copies of them for you. I'd just go like here. Oops. Boom. And then you guys could just be in, you know, the same basic drawing environment as everybody else. And just make a bunch of them. Boom. They don't have to be perfectly lined up. But then, you know, somebody would come in here and they would do the NFS portion. So we build out an NFS lab. And I say, make a copy of this block somewhere on the page, add your name, Scott, draw the version of the description, and then you've got a 3-node cluster, and you're going to come in here and go, okay, I've got a 3-node cluster. It looks, oh, geez, what the fuck is going on here? Background is nothing. That's fine. Yeah. So there's one of my nodes. Then maybe I copy that. All right, so anyways, I grab these. Control-CV. I make a few of these, and then I make an NFS server. I draw down how it works with the other things, and and then how do they connect, and they connect up on port 2049, and this is what's exposed by my NFS server by default, and maybe what I would check if I wanted to see if I had connections all the way through, all of these kind of things, right? And your ability to draw isn't the goal to be like, hey, I'm a good artist. That's not the goal. That's not the goal of engineering drawings. That's not the goal of like architecture drawings either. The goal is to convey the idea you want to convey in less words than me typing it all up and explaining how an NFS deployment would work. Hot Mike, this is free. This stuff right here is completely hold on. These this right here, if you go look, so, oh man, what's happening to my mouse is all jacked up. These are free. If you do the hosted ones, they even say that they're encrypted and you can't get in there. But one fun thing about Excalidraw is it's open source, so if you really wanted to, you can run it internal. So you could run an instance of the server and just build your own little Excalidraws. And you might say, well, like how much value do you get out of this Excalidraw? I do all my drawings in here. I do drawings in here, and then I go and I put them over into Excel or Excel. I put them into my PowerPoints and my things. Unless you guys think I'm messing with you or whatever, here's my innovation paper that I turned in yesterday for my doctorate. And right here, I was doing this innovation, and this is a little explanation here. This is my little graph on any compute node using Ansible service to pull down a configuration from like a Git repo and configure itself on initial build for the baseline, runs on any reboot, and every 3 hours it stays on the baseline. This is like an innovation type thing that I was building out for this class on like innovation and data analytics and stuff. So like, lest you guys think like, oh, Scott's just showing me this stuff, but he doesn't use it. I use Excalidraw professionally. I used to build everything in PowerPoint, and PowerPoint's okay. PowerPoint will do some stuff, but I like Excalidraw. I like that you can make things kind of rough if you want them to be. Like you can go, we won't worry about my doctorate papers. But you can come in here and you can make it more sloppy, right? So you can be like, hey, that looks, I don't need this to be architect level. I need this to look like it's just something for my guys. And this will look more like you kind of drew it, as opposed to some of the other stuff. What else is going on here? All right, I'm just making sure none of you guys are doing any other weird ratchet stuff out there. But anyways, the reason I give you guys that, and I gave you guys a link to this, and this is up in the Discord and all that stuff. Oh, and by the way, it's free to download. Like when you run this, you can go and save it, and it just saves it as a .excalidraw version on your system. So if I said save to, and I wanted to save it to a file in my environment, I have all these Excalidraw ones, and these are different things that I've drawn up over the time that we've done different stuff in our group or whatever. It's pretty okay. It's not. I wouldn't call this quite Visio level because you can't get as precise as you can with Visio, but you got to think about what you're drawing for. Like, and I need to put a whole thing together for this in my soft skills for engineering. You are not drawing to go and put it into the annual Pablo Picasso fucking art award exhibit or whatever. You're drawing to convey your message in a way that you don't have to do a whole lot of explaining. I should be able to put this up here, and I should be able to draw this out right here. And when I'm done drawing it out, you guys should be able to understand very quickly with me just saying, hey, here's my NFS server, here's my clients connecting, they're coming on 2049, they pull the configurations down. Every time a server gets built in a stateless configuration, it does the last little bit of personalization by going and checking out whatever's in our repo. Well, we don't have a repo internally, and maybe we don't want to deal with running a Git repo. We've already got an NFS, and we can just have some static files, and we just pull them down. And maybe in an NFS cluster, and maybe in your high-performance compute cluster, that might be good enough for what you need. Maybe that fits your security requirements just fine. The clients, maybe the server is locked down to only allow clients in your network, and then you're air-gapped properly, so now you need Bastion hosts to get in. So it's pretty reasonable that somebody's not going to be able to mount that NFS share without, having some kind of permissions, right? If you really need to, you can put certificate level security on there, which is like a zero trust type model. By the way, I haven't brought up our zero trust stuff in a while. You guys know one of the members of our community. Actually, I need to see if I can get Tani to talk. It's Tani, T-A, and I haven't seen Tani in a while, but it's Taniwa is how it's going. But anyways, they were part of writing a book on zero trust, and I always bring it up when I get around to it, and I'd forgotten for a while. But if you guys, does everybody here like free stuff? I think most people here like free stuff. Here's a free book on zero trust security. It's called Spiffy. Solving the Bottom Turtle. I'll link this to you guys. This is a free book right here. And it was written, so there it is on the YouTube side, there it is on the Twitch side. Free book. And one of our members of our community is one of these people that helped to write it. And the reason I like showing you guys this is really a good way to understand security. If you're trying to get into security and you're like, hey, there's a lot of info here, this is a good place to start. They talk about why we needed, and they talk about how we used to protect systems. We used to protect systems with a large, strong outer wall. And anybody here ever seen Attack on Titan? Doesn't work, right? Titan comes in, kicks the wall down, the wall fails. In all security settings, we expect things to fail. That's why we build layer defenses, right? But we accept that this is no longer an acceptable way to secure our system. The traditional, Wall Maria and Wall, what were all the three names of the walls? Anybody remember the three names of the walls? I know Maria. I haven't watched it in a long time. But the modern way of doing things is we protect all the devices at each layer. Anyways, the other reason I bring this up is we jump down to page 43. This is a really good book, by the way. Really good information here. You jump to page 43, and let's say you're just really bad with anytime people in your environment start talking about certificates, you just kind of daze off and go, that's all the senior engineers. Well, what's keeping you from knowing what certificates are and how they work? This right here is like one of the best. It's on page 41. It's one of the best like quick intros that I've ever seen to get you ready for like how what's called the X509 search, what the standard search for PKI that we run. How does that work? And if you've never seen that before, this is one of the best free resources I've ever seen to learn it. They've got, hey, how it works, how we can prove that you are who you say you are, how we can assert identity and make sure that we have non-repudiation. The far end can't say it wasn't you later, and I know that it is you doing an action, right? This is how this works. And they discuss all the pieces of it. So I think that's one of the best things. And again, did I mention it's free? That's like a free resource out there. So, all right. Anyways, I've been far afield here. I have not getting there. You can verify this is turned on by metrics exposed when it is active. All right, so I'm going far afield, but I'm also trying to get stuff done. I've never used I have used Lucid Chart. My company Redline, I think, bought us some Lucid Chart for a while there. But I'm gonna be honest, man, like I can do almost everything I need inside of Excalidraw, or I could do some stuff, I guess, in PowerPoint if I need to. PowerPoint's okay for drawing. Can I tell you guys what I do really like PowerPoint for? Is if I needed, this is one thing that it excels in greatly. Let me just make a new slide here. And then I need like a smart art. So you can come here, draw, design. I think it's an insert thing, actually. Illustration, yeah, smart art. If I needed a smart art, and what a smart art might be is I'm like, hey, I need to show like a process of things, and I need those process to like flow across. I can come in here and I can keep adding to this. Watch, so I can pull this out over here, and I can just build it here, and it'll just build the visualization for me. So that's actually like a nice little thing that I will use if I need, because again, like you have to be able to convey, like we have to be able to build stuff and figure stuff out. That's part of engineering, but conveying your ideas to the masses, the masses being the other engineers that are going to help you build and maintain things and allow you to take vacation. Did you know the better you document things, the more likely you are to get your vacation approved as an engineer? That's not a joke. That's real. Like if you get called every week because something you built breaks and you don't just document how to fix it, or just fix it. But that's neither here nor there. Maybe there's not a fix in place yet, but you still want to take a vacation. Well, document your solution so that people can, then you don't get called anymore. That's like the best thing. I like documenting things I do too, Moonpie. I tell people all the time, I document things to a level where you could replace me immediately. And you might say, really? That sounds like that's bad business. And I go, well, you can replace me at any time in my organization. I have all my stuff documented. I use a fair amount of, well, my system rebooted. What the hell? I started today, Notepad. And I actually will, when I do my systems engineering, I'm going to build another systems engineering book one of these days. I'm going to put that all together and show all those pieces. Don't worry about this. That's a key to a vault that doesn't exist right now. So I don't mind showing that to you. Normally you don't show your keys to a vault, but This is, these are the people that are coming and talking to our group, right? But anyways, so I will always have like raw notes sitting there, and the raw notes are, you know, just the rough outline of what I was doing or what I was working on, and then I'll take those and I will codify them down to like a first version in my documentation. I do that all the time. The reason I do that is because if my stupid machine does reboot, Notepad++ is excellent. If you haven't used it, it's excellent because you don't have to save everything. It saves it all for you, unless it crashes, which I've only ever had it crash on me once in years. But it'll keep all your open tabs, and it saves at periodic intervals. So it's actually a pretty good little tool for that. Yeah, it does save it. It's pretty useful for that stuff. Okay, by the way, it's 7. What is it? We're at 2.5 hours. I'm gonna take another little break here in a second. Go stretch my legs, walk around. If you guys like this stuff, you know, follows are free. You guys are welcome to hang out down in the Discord. Let me link the Discord for you guys, because most of my normal guys are not around. So there's our Discord on the Twitch side, and I'll link it to you guys over on the YouTube side. Where's YouTube at? Right there. Boom. There you go. By the way, I think that was also the first time I've ever shown you guys a paper that I wrote. Yeah, Fisherman, you're you're normal enough, but not. I wouldn't quite call Fisherman normal. Let's see, what does the query log look like? Oh, so it's JSON formatted. That's important. Let me go get my stuff. I'm gonna delete this because that was just an example, not even a good example. Delete slide. Come here. Boom. Format. Log format is JSON. Log format's JSON. That's important. I think that's an important piece of information. All right. Yeah. Rotate with normal. Oops. You can rotate with normal Linux. Log rotate facilities. Right? So log rotate has the normal facilities, and it looks like this. So what you would do is you would make etc log rotate.d Prometheus, and then you would give it, these are all like the default ways that you do it. You could say daily, save 7, compress. Yeah, so they have it right here. Compress, delay, compress, and then every time you do that, you can kill and restart Prometheus real quick, and then it'll end the script. So that's actually a pretty common way of doing system stuff. But do note that this kills Prometheus every night. And if you don't have a stable Prometheus, or you're in an environment where maybe people muck about with your configs, that can be bad because of this. People if people aren't good about their discipline with systems, and they don't always, if you're going to make an edit to a config file, you need to restart the service right then before you leave. Because if something like this comes along and you had some typo, or you fat fingered it, or you had some bad thing, now your Prometheus did not collect from the time this rotated, probably around 3:14 in the morning. That's when log rotates and daily crons tend to kick off, is like 3:14 in the morning. That's the technical time. That's not me making. I'm not just making that up. That's the time. Typically, you can change it, but now from then until somebody catches it, you don't have any data. And Prometheus is a query service. It pulls the data from the servers. So if the node exporter isn't queried for that data's gone forever, guys. You have a big gap of data in your Grafana dashboards from then on, and management's gonna be like, "What the heck's that big gap of data?" And you're like, "Oh, that's where I was fat fingering shit," right? Like you want to watch how you. Anyways, that's all administration stuff. Always check how you do your log file, or how you do any changes. But okay, all right. So that's that. Let's go look at some of our other log stuff. I'm gonna take a break here in a minute, though. Walk around, stretch my legs out a little bit. So logs and metrics and graphs. Oh my! So let's go look at this. What is this? And this is a log from Here, logs come in a variety of formats. You'll find a variety of logs from text logs and varlog syslog. So varlog syslog if you're in a Debian-based system. Varlog messages it if you're in a Red Hat-based system, right? Metrics. Okay, so I think you should know the difference between metrics and logging. We have a different talk on that. But okay, so you have requests coming in. You have graphing. So this is graphing of queries to your system. Okay. Logs. Metrics. Yeah, it's fair. I don't need to take anything out of that, I don't think. And then poll doesn't scale, or does it? I think polling, P-U-L-L-I-N-G, I think that scales very well. By the way, this broke. Gotta turn it off, turn it back on. Does it work? Can you guys hear me? There you go. Alright, yeah, my thing stopped working there. Which happens sometimes. It's typically only once or twice a stream, but it does sometimes turn off. Alright, let's go look at this. Prometheus is not an event-based system. That's true. Prometheus is not event-based or event-driven. It is querying things on a timeline, right? Yeah, that's fine. It does all that. It's not an event-based. If you want event-based or event-driven, you need to be doing something like Kafka or Event Bus. Event Bus is an AWS thing. Kafka is like a local system for that. This is true with pull-based approach. Your monitoring system needs to know what service instances exist and how to connect to them, because that's how we set it up inside of our Prometheus with those different JSON files, and that's how we did it. When is the last time you had to install RHEL on a laptop using DVD? Hot mic base guy, I have probably last installed RHEL off of a DVD, but never on a laptop. Never once on a laptop. I've probably last installed it on a server over an ISO probably about 6 months ago. Once I do that, and I use a tool called XCAT. Once I build it in an XCAT image, then I just push the image everywhere and make it configure itself from there. But I don't do a lot of building where I have to like click next. I haven't done that except if you've seen me do it in the lab here with like whatever different tools and stuff I've done, like when I'm showing you guys that. But professionally, I build stuff out with I use a tool called XCAT is a pretty good tool for this, and I build an image and then I just push my image everywhere and pull all my files and everything. It's a CRN box and it's not going. Yeah. I can see the frustrations there, especially if you're trying to put it on hardware that's not expected, you know. Although Linux in general tends to have a really good set of drivers. Yeah, I use Kickstart too. Kickstart's excellent for actually. So under the hood in XCAT is Kickstart. If you guys want to play with XCAT ever, here's the XCAT server. So XCAT enables administrators to do all of these things. And a lot of big high-performance compute uses XCAT. If you ever go watch my talk on high-performance compute, or like even when I bring up my high-performance compute docs and we go through it, you'll see me use XCAT a lot. Crash at 30%. Anacon just starts freaking out about DM11. Maybe you have to partition your stuff manually. Yeah. It might be trying to put it somewhere that it's not supposed to. So you might have to go in and do all the partitioning by hand. That's what I would do. If it was crashing on the install like that, I would go and I would not let it do any defaults. I would go put all of the places exactly on the disk where I wanted. If it were my own, if it was a machine that I was doing that on, for sure. Okay, so now monitoring needs service instance, DOS in your environment. Push pull time series database fail if you send multiple samples that it can handle. That's true. I feel like that's setups that are hard to monitor with pull-based approach. Prominence is endpoint scatter around the world. Okay. Via push gateway. Okay. So that's fine. We don't need to know that now, but then here's a little bit about the push gateway. So I don't need any more with the logging, I think. What should I be using push gateway? I only recommended using push gateway in certain limited cases. There are several pitfalls when blindly using push gateway instead of the pull model for general metrics collection. Multiple instances through a single push gateway. The push gateway becomes single point of failure. That's fair. Use Prometheus automatic instant health monitoring using the up metric. Okay. Push gateway never forgets series push to it and will expose them to Prometheus forever, unless those series are manually deleted. Ah, that's fair. So push gateways have some problems. So let's go look for where push gateways are. Is that back? Is that in here? Push versus pull. Okay. So push versus pull has this. So logs and events. Let's just copy this one. Duplicate the slide. And we'll call this one. We'll just do the next one here, which is trace. Tracing, and spans. Right? And then we need to pull all this off. Then we need to duplicate this slide. Boom. And then our next one is going to be push versus pull. Right? And then we'll have service discovery. Slide. Service discovery. And then duplicate that one. You might say, why are you duplicating them? Because then they keep the same format. If you just generate a new one, it wants to use this bullshit format that I don't want to deal with. Basics of SLO, SLAs, and SLIs. Okay. Boom, there we go. All right, so now we got all those pieces that we're going to talk about and work through as we've kind of been doing here. You know, we haven't... Oh, look at Ranger. It's still light out? Man, it's still light out outside. Is that link under project? So, Hot Mike Bass Guy. I'm just going to call you Hot Mike, which is funny because my buddy. No, we have... if you go down to Prologue Projects, here's the link for the environments to build Prometheus out. And these are... Like, so the server build would be if you wanted to build it to a full server, but that's in a 1 hour environment. So that's Killer Coda with a 1 hour environment. This is a Docker build that's a real quick stand up inside of Killer Coda again. So those are 1 hour builds. If you have a home lab and you want to build it yourself, use the Stefan one and then just run it on Docker and it'll spin up the Grafana 3000. Well, but you can hit on port 80 because it's got a forwarder. And then your Prometheus on 9090. And your node exporter on 9100, right? So it'll spin them all up so you can hit all the pieces and look at them. So somebody mentioned that on stream earlier, actually. I forget who it was, but it's an awesome, just awesome little thing. This thing that I'm putting together will be up here eventually. It's not up here on the projects yet because I'm not ready for it. But I will have, what I'll be doing is as I go through the things, I'm going to start building labs out. And then I will have the labs that you should be going to for all this Prometheus stuff, if that's fair. But I probably won't have it done, obviously, tonight to get up there for you guys. Also, let me show you this because I haven't pulled this up in a while. We have a whole bunch of events coming up. You guys are welcome to go join them August 3rd and 4th. Our server is turning 5 years old. The professional Linux users group is turning 10. And we don't charge anything for these. I have guest speakers that come in. It's funny, I'm the first guest speaker, but then all the rest of them are engineers. So M-Pesa is a Red Hat architect. You say, what's a Red Hat architect? Well, he got a perfect score on his RHCSA and his RHCE, so he got 100% on both of those. And then he went and got 5 other ones. Most of them are in OpenShift. And what's the other stuff he did? He did a lot of OpenShift. So... he's an infrastructure architect with Red Hat, RHCA. You probably haven't heard of many of those. You have to pass the first 2 and then 5 more to get those. And then we're going to have a director of engineering come in, and he's going to talk about CI/CD, DevOps, and this big, long acronym that he's made up that's actually really kind of hits the core of all this stuff. And then we're going to have Fisherman come in the next day, and Ben is going to come in and talk data analytics. So these guys are experts in their fields, right? They're going to do that. Jared's going to come in. He's one of our data architects that just tracks people on the internet. He's come and talked to the group a few times. And then Sending Grounds, if you guys don't know Sending Grounds, he's a guy who he's 7 years with one of the 8 years now with one of the big Fang or Mangs or whatever you want to call them as a systems engineer, and he builds stuff to scale in huge environments, and he's also called in a lot to troubleshoot that stuff. So he's an excellent resource. He also probably has, of all the people in our Discord, I'd say he probably has, he's up there, maybe in the top 5 of people's understanding of Bash. If he shows you Bash stuff, he runs Bash in production for like real scripts and stuff. So there's very few people that do Bash as in depth as he does anymore nowadays. Like he codes in Bash, if you will. Much deeper level than I do. I do just ancillary stuff to like get my shit working, right? But look at that Ranger dog. Look at him. He's just hanging out, chilling, being Ranger. Ansible failed one of the senior sysadmins I worked with for not doing it the way they prescribed. Oh man, I love Ansible. I think Ansible starts from a good inventory and knowing what you want to do, and then man, it's just such a good tool for pretty much almost anything I need to do. So. All right, where are we at here, man? I'm almost at 3 hours. I don't normally talk this long, but I'll talk a little bit longer. I'm just, guys, I'm going to be doing this anyways. I'll probably, when I'm not streaming, I do the same stuff that you guys kind of see me doing, which is, again, probably looks like I'm a madman. Just flipping through, pulling stuff down, putting the lab, I'm going to put the lab pieces in so you can get your hands on this stuff. And then, I'll probably, and normally when I'm not like talking to you guys and doing whatever, I will be like I'll watch something, you know, or I'll even watch a Twitch stream or something. I think I've told you guys, or some of you guys have probably heard me say, like, I don't know what it is about Dead by Daylight. Like, I've never played the game. I have no desire to play that game at all. I just love watching people get hung up on meat hooks. I think it's hilarious. So I watch a fair amount of Dead by Daylight. In fact, if I had to guess, I've probably watched over 4,000 hours, maybe 5,000 hours of that game over the last few years. I don't play it. Don't even kind of play it. But I just have it on in the background all the time. Somebody just killing people in a video game, right? So, and I watch Ranger sometimes because the wife's not around right now. So, just me and Ranger at the house, guarding the house. So, squad. Okay. Yeah, I play a lot of like simple games that I can get done with quick. I got into Mechabellum a little bit, and I was like, I got to back off. I'll get super addicted to this. But Mechabellum's an excellent game if you guys haven't played with any of that stuff. So. How about this? I think we probably have. This was probably a good enough start for a lot of this stuff. I've got a lot more work to do. I'm going to be taking this certification, so that's one of the reasons I'm putting together an outline and doing all my study and stuff. But I'll probably be taking this cert in the next couple weeks here. So that's kind of one of the reasons I did it. By the way, it's on sale right now. It's only it's 40% off. So if you are interested in doing Linux Foundation stuff, just want to bolster the resume a little bit. It's one of those things that you can just pop on there and say, like, I went and studied how to do this. Not a lot of people that have a Prometheus certified associate type certification, but you could you be one of them. And if you like doing monitoring and you want to do systems administration anyways, it's just one more thing because, we can go look on dice.com and literally every single one of those jobs says monitor the system, track the system, monitor whatever. Granted, you're probably going to be using their tools, but you can show somebody, hey, I understand how monitoring works. I understand service level agreements and all of these things. So, all right. Yeah, and tuning comes from good metrics because if you don't have what your current baseline is and then you make a change, how do you know it got better or not? You feel it down in your guts? Like you're like one of these like hard-nosed gumshoes that are like, I know in my guts the person's lying to me, and you're like, well, that's not the scientific method there, buddy. Like. All right. Somebody said I was like ASMR earlier, and I just can't see that. I mean, although I guess if I am soothing, that's good. But let's go find somebody to raid on the YouTube side. I won't have obviously any ability to raid, but we'll go to our little end of stream thing. You guys are always welcome to hang out down in Discord. People are talking down there, and there's all kinds of fun stuff going on. So let's go raid out on the Twitch side. Who's on? Oh, we'll go hit up there's science and technology stuff. There's let's go attack BlazeBits. He's doing what is he doing? He's doing Hack the Planet. So that sounds like a fun little thing to go message and mess with him. We don't have a raid message unless you guys want to do the, if you have this one, Rage. There's the raid message if you guys want to use that one. All right, I will talk to some of you tomorrow. Tomorrow will be our chill stream. I'll keep working on this stuff, and I will talk to you guys then. Unless you catch me down in Discord. I might be doing some of this stuff in Discord later. All right, take care, everybody.